Your Highness, are you joking? I know, you must be joking. Well, I'll take my leave now. Hei Shinjo was about to run away after saying that. What kind of bullshit side concubine was that? If the gigolo found out about this, he would definitely kill her. Unfortunately, the crown prince's guards had already blocked her way. There was no way for her to escape. Aog frowned and looked at Hei Shinjo maliciously. What I said is true. You said that you adored me before, and now you want to escape. What are your intentions? Hei Xinjia's lowered eyes were filled with frustration. But now, the enemy was stronger and she was weaker. She could only take one step at a time. Therefore, she said shyly, Your Highness, you really didn't lie to me? I can't believe that it's true. How can I be the princess consort of the Yen clan's crown prince? I'm so happy that I'm about to faint. Hei Shinjo said and even winked at Aog. Yes, she rolled her eyes. Aog was disgusted by the winking, but when he remembered his purpose, he still said, In that case, follow me back to the residence. Hei Shinjo agreed and followed Aog back to the crown prince's residence. Hei Shinjo really could not understand why Aog wanted to marry her as a side concubine of the crown prince. True love was definitely impossible. What was his purpose? As soon as Aog entered the crown prince's residence, a guard came to report, Your Highness, Princess Pian Pian is beating and smashing Mo Lanxian. Butler Wan could not stop her and was planning to send me to find you. Aog's expression immediately became extremely gloomy. Previously, although he felt that this cousin was arrogant and willful, he could still tolerate it. Now, she had become like her father who did not know how to restrain himself. It was really detestable to the extreme. As Aog thought of this, he glanced at the ugly girl behind him. He could use this ugly girl to teach her a lesson. As Aog thought of this, he walked to Mo Lanxian. Before he reached Mo Lanxian, he heard Princess Pian Pian's sharp voice from afar, Smash! Smash! Smash that slut out! She actually dares to live next door to brother crown prince. I must kill her today. Who do you want to kill? Aog said coldly. Princess Pian Pian turned around and saw Aog. She immediately smiled, but when she saw Hei Shinjo behind Aog, her expression instantly became ferocious. Brother crown prince, why are you with that slut? Aog snorted coldly, why can't I be with her? I've decided to make her a side concubine of the crown prince. What? A side concubine of the crown prince? No, I don't believe it. Why would you like such an ugly freak? Princess Pian Pian roared in disbelief. Although Xiao Xiao looks ordinary, she is gentle and virtuous. I have made up my mind. Don't say more. If you still don't know how to restrain yourself, I will marry Xiao Xiao and make her my princess consort. Guards, send the guest out. Aog said coldly. Princess Pian Pian almost collapsed on the ground. What? The crown prince actually said that he would make that ugly freak his princess consort. Then, what about her? Princess Pian Pian looked at Hei Shinjo viciously and pounced on her like a crazy person. Bitch! It's all your fault. I'm going to kill you. Hei Shinjo was not stupid, so she naturally would not wait to be beaten up. In a flash, she hid behind Aog. Aog looked at the crazy Princess Pian Pian and raised his hand in disgust. He directly pushed Princess Pian Pian to the side. What are you still standing there for? Send the guests out. Housekeeper Wang quickly ordered his maids to drag Princess Pian Pian out. He had long disliked this Princess Pian Pian. This Princess Pian Pian was still passable in the past. Ever since King Ankang took power, she had become more and more arrogant. She was really inferior to Miss Yi. At least, Miss Yi was always smiling at everyone. Yes, although her smile was quite scary. He Xinjiu saw that Princess Pian Pian was defeated, and she gloated in her heart. She deserved it. If not for this Princess Pian Pian, she would have returned to the Chaos Origin sect to show off. Aog was obviously not in a good mood. He glanced at Hei Xinjiu and said coldly, "Since I've said that I'll make you the Crown Prince's side concubine, you should stay in the manor obediently. If I find out that you have any other intentions, HMPH. Yes, commoner girl. Commoner girl will definitely keep her duties and wait for the day of marriage." After Hei Xinjiu said that, she parted her big red lips and gave Aog a flirtatious look. Aog said a few words perfunctorily and then left in a hurry. He had already decided that even if he married this ugly girl in the future, he would not get close to her. Such an ugly freak really could not bring himself to say anything. However, that ugly girl's eyes were very intelligent. What a pity for those eyes. However, why did he feel that those eyes looked somewhat familiar? Forget it. Why did he feel that the ugly girl looked familiar? He must have been thinking too much. After Aog left, housekeeper Wan smiled and said to Yun Chujiu, "Miss Yi, congratulations." The rest of the servants also expressed their congratulations to Hei Xinjiu. Hei Xinjiu's heart was like a dog crying, but she could only pretend to be happy and even gave everyone some nightmare stones. In the next few days, Hei Xinjiu obtained some information and could basically figure out Aog's intentions. Firstly, Aog was dissatisfied with King Ankang's father and daughter's arrogance and wanted to teach them a lesson. Secondly, he wanted to win the hearts of the people. As the crown prince, he had married a commoner as the crown prince's consort. Moreover, she was an ugly woman. Naturally, he would gain some good impressions. Hei Xinjiu sneered in her heart. Great aunt was not a tool that you could use. Not to mention the crown prince's side consort, even the crown prince's consort was not of interest to her. Hei Xinjiu decided to find an opportunity to escape. She had already chosen the day to escape. That day would be the day of Aog and Princess Pian Pian's wedding. That day, Aog and the others would definitely go to the land of the Yen ancestor to pay their respects to the ancestors. The guards of the crown prince's residence would be lax, and she would have a chance to escape from the crown prince's residence. Thus, in the following days, Hei Xinjiu lived in the crown prince's residence with good food and drinks. In the beginning, Aog would ask Hei Xinjiu about her movements. Later, when he saw that she was completely in high spirits, he did not pay any attention to her. Princess Pian Pian wanted to cause trouble for Hei Xinjiu, but she was afraid of angering Aog, so she made up her mind. When she became the crown prince's consort, she would teach that bitch a good lesson. Want to be the crown prince's side consort? Dream on. Finally, the day of the wedding arrived. Hei Xinjiu knocked the two maids to the ground and adjusted the level of her spiritual power to the first layer of the spiritual void tier. She changed into one of the maid's clothes, removed the makeup on her eyebrows and bright red lips, and then carefully left Mo Lanxian. The people of the crown prince's mansion were busy preparing for the wedding banquet in the evening, so no one paid attention to Hei Xinjiu who had passed by in a hurry. Hei Xinjiu slipped to the back door, quietly knocked over the guards, and then escaped from the crown prince's mansion. Hei Xinjiu learned her lesson from the previous time and did not dare to delay any longer. She quickly left the imperial city. This guy kept changing his clothes and spiritual power level along the way. In half a day's time, he would be able to reach the poisonous miasma area. Hei Xinjiu finally let out a sigh of relief. As long as she arrived at the poisonous miasma area, she would not be afraid even if Aog caught up with her. Just as Hei Xinjiu was thinking about it, she felt the ground shake. Obviously, many people were coming. Hei Xinjiu turned her head and saw dust flying in the distance. Many people were riding on nightmare beasts and were flying in her direction. Hei Xinjiu's heart sank. Were they here to catch her? This guy shook his head. Although Aog would be very angry if she ran away, he would not go to such great lengths to come here to catch her. She must be thinking too much. Thinking of this, Hei Shinjo stood by the roadside and prepared to continue her journey after these people passed. Unexpectedly, those people actually surrounded her. A cold voice said, "Should I call you Yi Xiao Xiao, or kill little Zhou? Or Leng Xiaozhou, or Yunchu Zhou?" Hei Xinjia's heart sank. She looked up and saw Aog jumping down from a huge nightmare beast, staring at Yunchu Zhou. "Your Highness, are you kidding me? Why can't I understand?" Hei Shinjo looked shocked and innocent. "Yunchu Zhou, you played me so badly. No wonder you disappeared from the military camp. So you became a maid. No wonder there was a sudden change in the Nightmare Ancestors' land. It was all your fault. You even lived in my crown prince's residence for a month. How dare you?" Aog looked furious. He felt that he was a fool to be toyed with by a little girl. If it were not for the fact that he had discovered something by accident, he probably would not have noticed it in his entire life. Seeing that Aog had said so much, Yunchuzhou knew that there was no point in quibbling. She simply smiled and said, "Aog, you are not too stupid. But, how did you find out?" Aog looked at Yunchuzhou's smile and gritted his teeth in anger. "No matter how I found out, you can't think of leaving today. We have to settle the score." Yunchuzhou blinked her eyes and curled the corners of her lips. "Alright, I can't beat you anyway, so do as you wish." Seeing that Yunchuzhou was so sensible, Aog's expression softened a little. He said to his subordinates, "Tie her up and bring her back to the crown prince's mansion." "Yes." The two guards agreed and were about to tie Yunchuzhou up, but unexpectedly, Yunchuzhou threw a big sack at them. The two guards subconsciously flashed, and the big sack fell to the ground. Boom! The chili inside flew everywhere, choking everyone's eyes. Hei Shinjo took the opportunity to jump out of the encirclement and ran forward desperately. Although she was confident in her movement technique, Aog knew a secret technique, so it was better to run faster. Aog choked on his snot and tears, so angry that he almost passed out. He had never experienced such a setback in his life, especially when he had lost to the same woman several times. Therefore, when he found out that Hei Shinjo was Yunchuzhou, he brought people to catch her. Although Yunchuzhou had changed her clothes along the way, Aog still managed to find her through a nightmare beast that could distinguish her scent. The moment Aog saw Hei Shinjo, other than anger, there was also an indescribable joy in his heart. He thought that this was the joy of getting his revenge. Aog looked at Hei Xinjia's back and a cold smile appeared in his eyes. This Yunchuzhou was really out of her mind. If she ran any further, she would be in the poisonous miasma forest. She was seeking her own death. Hei Shinjo ran with her life on the line. When she couldn't run anymore, she let Xiao Hong out and rode on it. Xiao Hong's fifth tail had already grown out, but it hadn't fully grown yet, so she didn't know what abilities it would gain. However, its speed was much faster than before. Aog looked at the girl on top of the red fox in front of him and gritted his teeth in anger. He bit his finger and was about to cast a forbidden spell. "Your Highness. You have already used a forbidden spell once before, you cannot use it again. Although that Yunchuzhou is detestable, you do not need to use a forbidden spell. Moreover, the poisonous miasma area is ahead. She cannot escape," the commander of the guards advised bitterly. Aog thought about it and agreed. Even if she couldn't catch up with her now, she couldn't run away from the poisonous miasma area in front of them. Therefore, Aog gave up the idea of using the forbidden spell and followed closely behind Hei Shinjo. Finally, Hei Shinjo reached the edge of the poisonous miasma area. "Yunchuzhou, the poisonous miasma area is in front of us. If you don't want to die, stop right now." Aog shouted coldly. Yunchuzhou jumped down from Xiao Hong, she curled her lips. "Aog, even if I die, I won't go back with you. We'll meet again. Oh right, if you want to be the Yen clan's crown prince or the future Emperor Yen, then you can live peacefully with us humans. Otherwise, I'll kill you." Aog was so angry that he laughed. Yun Chujo, I'm not joking with you. If you go into the poisonous miasma area ahead, you'll definitely die. I can promise you that as long as you come back with me to the Crown Prince's residence, I won't kill you. Who are you lying to? How can you not kill me? However, you should thank me. If it wasn't for me, your royal family would still be restricted by the 4 great families. However, the power of a foreign relative is also a disaster. You are also stupid enough to dare to marry Princess Pian Pian. Hei Xinjiu had already stepped into the miasma area with 1 foot, so she had nothing to fear. Aog had a complicated expression on his face. The reason why he sent troops to attack the human race was to get rid of the 4 great family suppression. Yun Chujo had instigated the internal strife in the Yen clan, which had indirectly helped him to clear the obstacles. As for the external relatives, they were only worried about their mother. It would be easy for them to take care of King Ankang. Yun Chujo, you are right. You have indirectly helped me. So, as long as you obediently follow me back to the Crown Prince's residence, not only will I not kill you, I will also treat you well, Aog said somewhat anxiously. Yun Chujo curled her lips. It would be a ghost if she believed him. Yun Chujo smiled brightly at Aog. Then thank you for your good intentions. However, I don't like to be manipulated by others the most. So, goodbye. I will never see you again. Yun Chujo said that she was having fun. She slipped into the poisonous miasma area and disappeared in a moment. Aog did not expect that Yun Chujo would really dare to enter the poisonous miasma area. He subconsciously wanted to chase after her, but was stopped by the guards beside him. Your Highness. You can't go in. That is the poisonous miasma area. If you go in, you will die. Aog stopped in his tracks dejectedly. Why did she still go in even though she knew that going in meant death? Was he so unworthy of her trust? He really did not intend to kill her. Aog was stunned for a while, and then a hint of ruthlessness flashed in his eyes. Send a message to Mo Wan and imprison King Ankang. Your Highness, that Crown Princess consort. I did not complete the marriage ceremony with her, so what kind of Crown Princess consort is she? Imprison her as well. Yes. Aog stared at the poisonous miasma forest. Yun Chujo would not die just like that. She cherished her life the most, so how could she go in even though she knew she was going to die? Yun Chujo, I will catch you one day. Hei Xinjiu was in a great mood at the moment. She could finally return to the primordial chaos sect and strut her stuff. Just thinking about it made her very happy, didn't it? Jin Ji and Bing Yu were probably worried sick. Senior brother An and Shengguan must also be worried about her safety. Right, there was also her Lengdatus Deputy Alliance Master, ha ha ha. Hei Xinjiu was afraid that she would be dragged into the teleportation array again, so she deliberately avoided the place where the black fog was last time. Meng Yanshou grinned and said, Little fairy, the teleportation array will only appear after a long time, so you can go ahead without worry. Hearing Meng Yanshou's words, Yun Chujo heaved a sigh of relief, but she did not dare to relax. Because this fellow was afraid that Aog would arrange for people to block the exit of the miasma district, he did not dare to delay even a single moment. A day later, Hei Xinjiu finally passed through the miasma district. She thought that the Yen clan had already retreated to the far west, and most of the human forces in the 10,000 miles Gobi Desert should have already retreated. Therefore, she did not head towards the 10,000 miles Gobi Desert, but chose to return directly to the Hunyuan sect. She walked and stopped on the way. Hei Xinjiu actually heard a piece of news that shocked her greatly. Something had happened to the Killing Origin sect. It was said that half a month ago, a group of people had arrived outside the mountain gate of the Killing Origin sect. The person in the lead claimed that they were the direct descendants of the Killing Origin sect and asked Master Xiahou to give up the position of sect master. The people of the Killing Origin sect were instantly dumbfounded. Following that, they found out that the founder of this group of people was the disciple and grand disciple of Patriarch Hungyuan's eldest disciple, Ji Qian. Back then, Ji Qian had gone out to train and had never returned. In addition, there was still no news from Master Hungyuan. Therefore, everyone recommended that Master Hungyuan's second disciple, Zhuang Muli, take over as the sect master of the murderous origin sect. After that, it had been passed down to this day. They did not expect that Ji Qian's disciple and grand disciple would suddenly appear to compete for the position of sect master. It was really unexpected. What made the murderous origin sect even more troubled was that not only did these people have superb spiritual power, but the leader, Murong Hanlai, was a generation older than Master Xiahou. In terms of seniority, Master Xiahou had to address him as Master Xiahou. Then, there was a problem. If they were to really pursue this matter, Master Xiahou really did not have the right. Because according to the records of the origin-killing sect, Master Hungyuan's favorite disciple back then was his eldest disciple, Ji Qian. He had also said long ago that the future position of the sect master must be passed on to his eldest disciple, Ji Qian. If it was not for Ji Qianyou's disappearance, the position of the sect master would not have fallen to his second disciple, Zhuang Muli. With such a serious argument, Master Xiaohu's position as the sect master became somewhat unjustified. Facing the aggressive Murong Hanlai, he was somewhat unable to withstand it. However, the vast majority of the people in the murderous origin sect still agreed with Master Xiahou. After all, they knew him well. Who knew what kind of person Murong Hanlai was? Moreover, he had also brought a group of direct descendants back. If he were to take over power in the future, they would not have a good ending. Of course, there were also some people who had long harbored feelings for Master Xiahou. They took the opportunity to fan the flames and joined Murong Hanlai. For a time, the murderous origin sect was in chaos. He Xinjiu blinked her eyes. Back when she had obtained the ring of Hungyuan Master in the Burning Sky Mystic Realm, that stupid flood dragon had once shown her a portrait. It was said that that person was Hungyuan Master's disciple. It must be that eldest disciple, Ji Qian. He Xinjiu curled her lips. In terms of seniority, who could be higher than her? The murderous origin sect and the Hunyuan sect would belong to her sooner or later. Now, Murong Hanlai had appeared and snatched her murderous origin sect. He was really courting death. He Xinjiu pondered for a moment. Right now, her spiritual power was too low. If she went directly to the killing Yuan sect to show off, there was a high chance that she would not have a good ending. Therefore, she had to go and check on the situation first. Therefore, this guy did not return to the mixed Yuan sect. Instead, he ran straight to the killing Yuan sect. After going through so many things, this guy became much more cautious. When he reached the entrance of the killing Yuan sect, he finally told An Linchuan and the others that she was still alive. As for Jin Ji and Yi Bingyu, they had already learned from An Feng that she was safe and sound. Therefore, when the disciples guarding the gate of the murder essence sect saw He Xinjiu, it was as if they had seen a ghost. Bad news bag, you're still alive. One of the disciples said with his eyes wide open. He Xinjiu curled her lips. Of course I'm still alive, and I'm still living quite well. I, the great hero who fought against the Yen clan, have returned. Why aren't you guys going in to deliver the letter? It's fine if Master Xiahou doesn't welcome me. At the very least, he should send a few peak masters to welcome me, right? The corners of the eyes of the disciples guarding the mountain gate twitched. However, they still used their identity jade tokens to send a message to the upper echelons of the murderous origin sect. At this moment, the meeting hall was filled with a tense atmosphere. Master Xiahou sat on the main seat, and an old man sat on his left hand. It was Murong Hanlai. His face was cold and ruthless, and the pressure he released made everyone present uncomfortable. Master Xiahou, we've already been here for more than half a month. You've been dragging this out. When are you going to give us an answer? Master Xiahou was actually feeling a little conflicted. It was fine if he didn't want to be the sect master himself, and this Murong Hanlai did indeed have a reason to take back the position of sect master. However, he didn't represent himself alone. He represented the entire murderous origin sect. It was impossible for him to easily hand over such a large sect to someone who suddenly appeared. Moreover, after these few days of open and secret investigations, he discovered that the people Murong Hanlai brought with him had ill intentions. In less than half a month, many bad rumors had already spread. For example, they had used their spiritual power and seniority to oppress the disciples of the murderous origin sect, and even molested female disciples. If they were to gain power, the murderous origin sect would probably be ruined beyond recognition. However, Murong Hanlai had used his seniority and so-called orthodoxy to force him to express his stance as soon as possible. It had practically caused his hair to turn white from worry. Master Xiahou now felt that even when Yun Chuzhou, that bad news bag, was still around, he had never been so worried. Now that he thought about it, at that time, he was still a little blissful. Unfortunately, that little girl had been captured by the Yen clan and there was still no news of her. She was most likely dead. It was really a pity. When Master Xiahou heard Murong Hanlai's aggressive question, he could only say with a smile, "Martial uncle, the change of master is not a small matter. We need to take a long time to think about it. Please wait a few more days." Humph. Senior Martial Brother Xiahou, it's not that my words are harsh, but what's the big deal? Isn't it just that you don't want to give up the position of sect master? My master said that as long as you give up the position of sect master, he will let you be the deputy sect master. What's there to be dissatisfied about? The one who spoke was Murong Hanlai's disciple, Wen Qianchuan. Master Xiahou and the others were unhappy when they heard Wen Qianchuan's words. Mountain Master Zhao had a fiery temper. They immediately said, "Junior Martial Brother Wen, this is such a big matter. There's nothing wrong with us discussing it for a few more days, right? Are we going to give up the position of sect master now?" When Qianchuan snorted, "So what if you give it up now? You've already occupied it for so many years. Shouldn't you return it to its original owner earlier?" Mountain Master Zhao wanted to argue, but Murong Hanlai released his pressure on him. Mountain Master Zhao's forehead immediately began to sweat. He was so angry that he gritted his teeth, but he could only keep his mouth shut. While the atmosphere in the meeting hall was still tense, Mountain Master Zhao's jade token started to shake. After sending his divine sense in, Mountain Master Zhao said with a wide grin, "Sect Master. Little Jiu is back. She's not dead. Ha! I knew this bad news bag wouldn't die so easily. She really came back alive." Sect Master Xiahou immediately stood up. "What? Yun Chuzhou is back? That's great. This little girl is really lucky." Peak Master Mo of Water Mountain also echoed, "I told you that this little girl would be fine. Congratulations." Murong Hanlai's eyes flashed with a trace of viciousness as he asked coldly, "Martial Nephew Xiahou, who is Yun Chuzhou? Why are you so happy that she has returned safely?" Sect Master Xiahou paused for a moment, then said, "Although Yun Chuzhou is only a servant of our murderous Yuan sect, she has made great contributions during the battle between the human race and the nightmare race. Previously, she was captured by the Yen clan during the battle. We thought she was already dead, but we didn't expect her to come back safe and sound." When Qianchuan pursed his lips. "A small fire-burning handyman? Made great contributions? Senior Brother Xiahou, are you joking? Even if you want to change the topic, say something reliable. A fire-burning handyman made great contributions. Could it be that the cultivators of the Central Plains are already weak to this extent? TSK, I advise you to return the position of sect master to my master. Otherwise, I think that sooner or later, the Killing Origin sect will become an unrated small sect." Master Xiahou could not stand it anymore. "Junior Brother Wen, the human race and the Yen race have suffered countless casualties in the battle. How can we treat it as a joke? For the battle for the sect master, I will give my senior uncle an explanation. Please watch your words. Master Xiahou also had a bad temper. However, he now felt that he was in the wrong. Moreover, due to Murong Hanli's seniority, otherwise, he would have been enraged long ago. When Qianchuan wanted to say more, but Murong Hanli snorted coldly and did not speak. Since this Yun Chuzhou of yours has worked so hard and achieved so much, why don't you let her come over? I want to see the rising star of our Shi Yuan sect. Murong Hanli said in a deep voice. Master Xiahou used to think that He Xinjiu was a bad person and wished that he could never see her again. But now, he felt a sense of pride and honor. He immediately sent a message to Len Kuei and asked him to bring He Xinjiu to the meeting hall. Len Kuei heard that Yun Chuzhou had returned and arrived at the front gate of the Killing Yuan sect at the fastest speed in his life. He Xinjiu had thought that there would be a grand welcoming ceremony, but when Len Kuei arrived, he could not help but curl his lips. Senior brother Len Kuei, you are not the only one who came to welcome me, are you? Len Kuei saw that Yun Chuzhou was safe and sound, and his nose felt a little sour. He had been living like a year these days, even though he still did not like He Xinjiu's personality. However, he had to admit that this junior sister was a special little girl. Although she was lazy and crafty, and she caused trouble, it was this little girl who had turned the tide of the battle between the human race and the nightmare race. She had almost single-handedly allowed the human race to obtain victory. Len Kuei, and Lin Chuan and Sheng Guanhao had also tried to sneak into the Yan clan camp to save Yun Chuzhou, but they were discovered by Mountain Master Zhua and the others. In the end, they were escorted back to the sect. Therefore, these days, Len Kuei had been living in self-blame and guilt. Vice Alliance Master Leng Datu, are you stupid? Why aren't you saying anything? He Xinjiu tilted her head and said with a smile. Leng Datu instantly fed Len Kuei's excitement to the dogs. Len Kuei glared at her. Humph. You are just a busboy. It's already good enough that I came to pick you up. The sect leader asked me to bring you to the meeting hall. He Xinjiu curled her lips. Although I am just a little busboy, I have made great contributions. If it weren't for me, the Nightmare clan might have already conquered the vast Gobi Desert. Although Len Kuei knew that what He Xinjiu said was true, he also knew that this fellow was giving him a hard time, so he didn't say anything and just let He Xinjiu grumble about her great achievements along the way. When they were about to reach the meeting hall, Len Kuei instructed, Murong Hanli's people are vicious and merciless. You should restrain yourself later. Otherwise, my master might not be able to protect you. After all, Murong Hanli's seniority is 1 generation higher than my master's. He Xinjiu blinked her eyes and said in a low voice, Senior brother Len Kuei, do you hate those people very much? Len Kuei snorted coldly, which was a tacit agreement. Senior brother Len Kuei, this is your fault. Murong Hanli is a legitimate direct descendant. Isn't it reasonable for him to come back for the position of the sect leader? He Xinjiu said with a smile. You. Humph. You ingrate. My master has protected you so many times, and you are actually helping others. Len Kuei glared at He Xinjiu angrily. He Xinjiu bared her little white teeth, Senior brother Len Kuei, what are you so anxious for? I'm joking with you. I don't care whether he is a direct descendant or not. Even if Patriarch Hong Yuan is resurrected from the dead, the sect master of the murderous origin sect is not his place. Len Kuei was so scared that he almost sat on the ground when he saw Yun Chuzhou saying such outrageous words. He was both angry and scared. Shut up. Don't spout nonsense. I'm warning you. Behave yourself when you enter the meeting hall later. The corner of He Xinjiu's mouth curled up slightly. Don't worry, I will behave myself. After all, I have always been obedient and won't cause any trouble. Len Kuei was even more anxious when he heard what she said. The more pretentious this fellow was, the more ill-intentioned he was. If she really made a fuss, the more chaotic the murderous origin sect would be. Len Kuei wanted to persuade her again, but he didn't expect He Xinjiu to have already rushed into the meeting hall, so he could only run after her. Sect Master. Peak Masters, Little Jiu, embark. I heard a rumor on the way that you're going to give up the position of Sect Master to me because of me saving the human race. Is that true? He Xinjiu asked crisply. The meeting hall was dead silent. Everyone was dumbfounded. Len Kuei, who had just stepped into the meeting hall with one foot, almost sat on the ground. No wonder this troublemaker said that even if Patriarch Hung Yuan came back from the dead, he would not be the sect master of the murderous origin sect. So she wanted to be the sect master of the murderous origin sect? Master Xiahou felt that it was not bad to give up the position of the sect master. Even if he gave up the position of the sect master to this troublemaker, it would be better than giving it to Murong Hanlai. Therefore, he coughed and said, I did plan to do so, but something unexpected has happened. We will talk about this later. That is Senior Murong, my martial uncle. Why don't you go and pay your respects? Yun Chujiu turned to look at Murong Hanlai and said with a smile, Hello, Senior Murong. Since you are the senior uncle of the sect master, your spiritual power must be very powerful, right? Murong Hanlai had not said anything yet, when Qianchuan snorted coldly, what an ignorant junior. My master's spiritual power is naturally the number one in the immortal Yuan continent. You, a handyman who burns a fire, actually want to become the sect master. You really overestimate yourself. The smile on Yun Chujia's face became even brighter. From what you said, you are Senior Murong's disciple. Then your spiritual power isn't bad either. Of course. When Qianchuan said arrogantly. TSK, then this junior doesn't understand. Since you and Senior Murong's spiritual power are both so high, why didn't I see you helping out when the human race and the nightmare race fought previously? On the contrary, now that the battle has calmed down, you guys have come to snatch my position as sect master. You guys really know how to take advantage. He Xinjiu said with a disdainful expression. The meeting hall fell into a strange silence once more. Her position as sect master. Pooey. Shameless. She really dared to say it. However, Mountain Master Zhao and the others felt that this little girl was right. She was too fucking right. They dared to be angry but didn't dare to say anything. Little Nine, shut up. How can you talk to Martial Uncle and Junior Martial Brother One? Although you're young, you can't just say whatever you want. Why don't you step aside and wait for us to finish our business before we ask you what happened, Master Xiahou reprimanded. Although he said that, Master Xiahou gave He Xinjiu countless thumbs up in his heart. He had been feeling extremely aggrieved these past few days, and finally, he had a sharp tongue. He Xinjiu immediately said, Master, I was wrong. I haven't seen much of the world, and I was almost killed by the Yen clansmen, so I can only speak the truth now. I'm really sorry to Senior Murong and Senior One. When Qianchuan was so angry that he almost vomited blood. What did he mean by only speaking the truth? It was as if he hadn't apologized at all. This brat was really hateful. Murong Hanli's cold eyes looked at Yun Chujiu and released a huge pressure on Hei Xinjiu. Mountain Master Zhao and company were about to make a move, but they found that He Xinjiu acted as if nothing had happened. She ran to Master Xiaohu's side, took out a small stool, sat down, and started to eat the pastries on the table. Everyone, the shadow in Master Xiaohu's and company's hearts was somehow lightened by this scene. It was as if with the return of this bad news bag, there was light shining out from the darkness, and it was filled with hope. When Qianchuan slammed the table, Brother Xiahou, she's a handyman, how can she sit with you? Where do you place my master in US? Where? Aren't you sitting there? Where do you think you're going? Besides, the current sect master is still Master Xiahou, and the Master Xiahou is still in charge of the Murderous Elements sect. Why are you calling me a guest? You keep calling the sect master senior brother, do you even look like a junior brother? If I didn't know better, I would have thought you were a senior brother. Even if you want to take over the magpie's nest, your eating style is too ugly. Furthermore, your dove might be roasted before it can take over the magpie's nest. Mountain Master Zhao couldn't help but laugh out loud. This little 9 girl's words were too interesting. When Qianchuan was so angry that he almost spat out a mouthful of blood, "You, senior martial brother Xia Ho is the dove taking over the magpie's nest. My master is the orthodox choice for the sect master." Yun Chuzhou took out her small teacup and poured a cup of tea. She sipped a few sips and said, "Pan Dien 0 Vel. Calm, the sect master has taken over the magpie's nest. This sect master position was not snatched by our sect master. It was passed down from generation to generation. If you have the ability, go and ask Grandmaster Zhuang for it. We live young and don't know anything about what happened back then. Even if you say something flowery, we won't admit it. We are just so shameless. How about it?" The meeting hall was so quiet that one could hear the sound of a needle falling to the ground. Everyone was stunned by He Xinjia's shameless words. Oh my God! She could actually say such shameless words as if it was a matter of course. How thick-skinned was she? However, the people from the murderous origin sect felt that although this fellow said it shamelessly, his words were simply too fucking good. If they could also be so shameless, how could there be so many things? Although they were not Murong Hanli's match, it was difficult for 2 fists to fight against 4 hands. They might not necessarily lose. When Qianchuan had obviously never seen such a shameless person like He Xinjiu. For a moment, he could not even say a word. Murong Hanlai glanced at He Xinjiu sinisterly. He said coldly, "Martial nephew Xiaoho, this old man will not stoop to the level of a junior like her. If you feel that you don't have a clear conscience if you don't give up the position of sect master, then just treat it as if I didn't come this time. Although our group has never made a name for themselves in the Central Plains, the Sea of 10,000 Ruins has always been under our control. Our strength may not be comparable to the murderous origin sect, but it may not necessarily be much weaker. If Master Xiaoho has never expressed his stance, then I can only use force to take back my things. Moreover, I do not believe that the fellow Taoists of the immortal origin continent cannot distinguish right from wrong. I must seek justice." Just as He Xinjiu was about to speak, Master Xiaoho gave her a look and said to Murong Hanlai, "Martial uncle, please calm down. Little Jiu is not sensible. I will punish her later. As for the position of sect master, please allow us to discuss further. I will give you an answer as soon as possible." Murong Hanlai heard Master Xiaoho say this. He softened his tone, "Martial nephew Xiaoho, what I said just now was a bit harsh. However, this was the last instruction left behind by the ancestral master. He told us that if we have the chance, we must take back control of the murderous origin sect. This is also to comply with the last order of ancestral master Hongyuan. I am also not willing to really use force. After all, we share the same root. If we fight against each other, we would really be letting down the ancestors of the murderous origin sect." Yun Chuzhou secretly curled her lips. Even after becoming a watch, she still had to set up a memorial tablet. This was the kind of person she was talking about. If it wasn't for the fact that the time wasn't ripe, she would have shown the sect leader ring to blind his dog eyes. Why is he still pretending to be a big shot here? Little 9th ancestor will torture you to death. Although He Xinjiu was cursing in her heart, she knew that she had been showing off enough today. She would stop when the time was right. After all, this matter involved a lot of things. It wasn't something that could be solved with just a few words from her. She still had to think long-term. Hence, this fellow only sipped on his tea and did not interrupt. Master Xiaoho saw that Murong Hanlai had changed the topic, so he said a few more polite words. At this moment, when Qianchuan said with a fake smile, "Yun Chuzhou, you were captured by the Yan clan previously. Why did you come back safely? Could it be that you did something shameful? Such as becoming a spy for the Yan clan?" As soon as when Qianchuan's words left his mouth, the meeting hall fell into silence once again. Although Master Xiahou and the others didn't think that Yun Chuzhou would be a spy of the Yen clan, but how did a little girl like her escape from the Yen clan? Lin Kuei's face was cold as he said indignantly, Senior Wen, if it wasn't for junior sister Jiu, the 10,000 miles Gobi Desert would have been conquered by the Yen clan long ago. She wouldn't have joined the Yen clan at all. You are slandering her. Wen Qianchuan slammed the table. How dare you? I'm just asking. Can't I even ask? Besides, anything is possible. She has indeed made contributions in the past, but that doesn't mean that she isn't a spy of the Yen clan now. As Wen Qianchuan spoke, he released his coercion towards Lin Kuei. Lin Kuei wasn't good with words to begin with. After being pressured by Wen Qianchuan's coercion, he was even more speechless. His face flushed red, obviously extremely angry. He Xinjiu was the most protective. She picked up Master Zaihe's teacup and smashed it onto the ground. Clang! Everyone was shocked by this guy's valiant behavior. Master Xiahou was dumbfounded. You want to smash your own teacup? Why did you want to smash his? I'm sorry, I heard a joke, so my hand slipped. He Xinjiu looked innocent. The corners of everyone's eyes twitched. How could a slip of the hand send the teacup flying so far? Moreover, that was clearly Master Zaihe's teacup, all right? Just as when Qianchuan was about to question her. He heard He Xinjiu say with a cold little face, why did I hear what you said before? I deserve to die in the nightmare race? You and I don't have the hatred of killing my father and stealing my husband. Do you have to curse me like that? Besides, do you know why the Nightmare Clan is fighting among themselves? Do you know why the Nightmare Clan suddenly withdrew their troops? You, a coward who doesn't even dare to go on the battlefield, actually suspect that I'm a spy. Your skin is really thick. Why are you glaring at me? Do you want to bite me? Let me tell you, although I'm a small handyman of the Murder Origin sect, you're not a member of the Murder Origin sect yet. If you dare to touch me, I'll break your legs. Do you think that my scolding is very unpleasant? What you said just now was 10,000 times worse than that. I risked my life for the human race and risked my life for the human race. In the end, I was called a spy of the Yen race. I don't want to live anymore. Master, don't pull me. I will kill myself in this meeting hall today. Let the people of the Immortal Essence continent see how Wen Qianchuan killed the hero of the human race. He Xinjiu was about to stand up and crash into the wall. Master Xiahou grasped her arm and said, Little Jiu, calm down. If you really crash into death here, our murderous Yuan sect will be drowned by everyone's saliva. Forcing the hero of the human race to death is going against everyone in the Immortal Yuan continent. Murong Hanlai and the others were dumbfounded. How could there be such a bad thing in the murderous Yuan sect? Throwing teacups and knocking into walls at every turn, this was too shameless. However, it had to be said that such shameless actions were very effective. Murong Hanlai glared at Wen Qianchuan. He comforted her, little girl, Qianchuan made a slip of the tongue just now. Don't take it to heart. For my sake, let's put this matter behind us. He Xinjiu wiped away her non-existent tears, all right. Since Senior Murong said so, I'll bear with it even if I have to suffer thousands of grievances. I just hope that Senior Wen would think twice before speaking next time. Otherwise, not everyone is as easy to talk to as me. Wen Qianchuan was so angry that he gritted his teeth, but he did not dare to disobey Murong Hanlai. He could only glare at He Xinjiu without saying a word. Lin Kuei's admiration for He Xinjiu rose to another level. It was still junior sister Xiaojiu. Even if the teacup fell, even if he scolded Wen Qianchuan, he could only suffer in silence. Master Xiahou, how about this? I will give you another 10 days of discussion time. If there is still no result by then, don't blame Master for acting old. Murong Hanlai said with a cold look in his eyes. Master Xiahou had no choice but to agree. Only then did Murong Hanlai leave the meeting hall with Wen Qianchuan and the others. Bah! What the hell? Master, do you really intend to give the position of master to that old thing? He Xinjiu asked. Master Xiahou didn't comment and instead asked, little girl, what do you think about this? He Xinjia's heart moved slightly as she blinked her eyes. She probed, Master, if I were to say that I was to say that I was to say that I was to say that if I had a higher seniority than you and the lost sect master ring, would you give up the position of sect master to me? Before Master Xiahou could say anything, Mountain Master Zhao from the Fire Peak said, Ha, little girl, you sure have a lot of imagination. Don't say that it's impossible. Even if it's true, it's impossible for a little girl like you to become the sect master of our Killing Yuan clan. Yun Chuzhou pouted, Mountain Master Zhao, why is that? Isn't that simple? If we really let a little girl like you become our sect master and our elder, where would we put our face? Even if you really have the sect master ring, with your low spiritual power, can you keep your sect master position? Mountain Master Zhao said disdainfully. But, the sect master said that because I'm a human, he wants to give me the sect master position. He Xinjiu said unwillingly. Peak Master Mo of Water Mountain said with a smile, little girl, this is just a delaying tactic of the sect master. Even if he really gives the position of sect master to you, you are just a figurehead. When the limelight has passed, you can find a reason to return the position of sect master to Master Xiahou. Then why are you so polite to Murong Hanlai? Can't you just fight him out? He Xinjiu asked in confusion. We are indeed concerned about his official identity, but that's not the most important thing. The main thing is that his spiritual power is higher than all of us here, even higher than the Grand Elders. Also, their branch has occupied the Sea of 10,000 Ruins for several years, and their strength cannot be underestimated. If they turn hostile, I'm afraid that the Immortal Essence continent will cause a stir. Moreover, with this opportunity, we can also see how many people in the sect are traitors. It's just the right time to clean up the sect. He Xinjiu cursed in her heart. She knew that these people would not be so silly and sweet. Indeed, they had other plans. Fortunately, she did not reveal the sect leader's ring rashly. Otherwise, not only would she admit it or not admit it, she might even get herself killed. This incident made He Xinjiu understand once again that strength was the absolute truth. Her spiritual power wasn't high now, and she didn't have her own forces. It was a fool's dream for her to rely on the sect leader's ring to gain a firm foothold in the Killing Yuan sect. This fellow sighed inwardly. The so-called alliance leader of the unaffiliated Cultivator Alliance had basically ended the war, and he had become a commander without any support. Otherwise, he would still be able to show off his might. Sect Master Xiahou saw that Yun Chuzhou was in a low mood. He smiled and said, Little Nine, you have just returned. Go back and rest first. Don't worry, you have made contributions to the human race this time. After our discussion, we will definitely reward you heavily. Hearing Master Xiaohu's words, Yun Chuzhou smiled and said, Thank you, Master Xiahou. I'll be going back now. This fellow was very tactful. He did not mention anything about giving the position of master to her and obediently left the meeting hall. As for Murong Hanlai's matter, Master Xiahou and the others obviously had a countermeasure. It was impossible for them to hand over the position of master to Murong Hanlai. It was just a matter of when they would shed all pretense of cordiality. After He Xinjiu figured out the joints inside, she could not help but shake her head and smile bitterly. She had treated herself too much. Even Murong Hanlai had such powerful strength behind him, and the people of the murderous Yuan sect did not acknowledge it, not to mention that she only had one sect master ring. Yun Chuzhou self-examined herself. These days, she was clearly a little complacent. She had to cultivate properly. Therefore, she sprinted back to her own yard. Yun Chuzhou cleaned the yard briefly. She stayed in the yard to train and try to break through to the spiritual space level as soon as possible. After the servants of the Killing sect and the Hunyuan sect broke through to the spiritual space level, they could become inner disciples immediately. Their treatment would also be improved accordingly. Sitting in her room, Hei Shinjo recalled the crow's mouth skill that she had developed when she was in the Dark Continent. Blinking her eyes, she stood in the yard and shouted in a low voice, "Little Wu Yun, hurry up and hit me with lightning." There was no response in the clear sky. Acting cool is struck by lightning. Wasting is struck by lightning. Lying is struck by lightning. There was not even a white cloud in the sky, let alone Wu Yun. Fuck, could it be that the crow's mouth skill was only useful in the Dark Continent? It was very likely that it was useful because Wu Yun in the Dark Continent did not know her. Hei Shinjo regretted it. If she had known earlier, she would have thought of a way to stir up some trouble in the Dark Continent, so that she could be struck by lightning. Hei Shinjo did not attract the heavenly lightning, so she discussed with Guai Chao and Hei Zhuzi, asking them to spit out some lightning power to let her break through. As for the Great Void Mirror, it was as if it was dead, and there was still no reaction. Hei Shinjo did not count on it anymore. Although Guai Chao and Hei Zhu were unwilling, they had no choice but to spit out the power of lightning to let Hei Shinjo wash her dantian and use it to break through. Hei Shinjo cultivated for a few days and spent a lot of effort. She barely broke through one level and arrived at the 8th level of the spiritual void tier. This guy was holding his breath. He had broken through at least 2 levels every time. Why did he only break through 1 level this time? This fellow cursed at Guai Chao and Black Bead. He thought that they must not have used their full strength, which was why they had only broken through 1 level. Black Bead ate for free as usual, without any reaction. Guai Chao, on the other hand, shook its leaves in a wronged manner. It meant that Hei Shinjo had not absorbed the power of lightning for a long time, and the landowners did not have any grain left. Hei Shinjo held her chin and was very worried. Wu Yun of the immortal Yuan continent had clearly learned his lesson and did not strike her at all. If this continued, when would she become stronger? Not to mention taking control of the Murder Yuan sect and the Hun Yuan sect. Just as Hei Shinjo was feeling extremely depressed, someone knocked on the door. Hei Shinjo arrived at the door impatiently. When she opened the door, she saw an old acquaintance, Chu Shanshan. Chu Shanshan was the female disciple from the Wood Peak who was sent flying to the kanji pot by Di Baiming. Yun Chujiu frowned. Was she here to cause trouble? Chu Shanshan gloated and said to Yun Chujiu, Senior Wen Qianchuan asked me to bring you over. He has something to ask you. Chu Shanshan hated Yun Chujiu to death. However, firstly, she did not have the chance to take revenge. Secondly, Yun Chujiu was getting more and more popular, so she did not dare to directly go against her. These few days, when she heard that Yun Chujiu had angered Wen Qianchuan and the others, she immediately gloated over Yun Chujiu's misfortune. She felt that Yun Chujiu's good days had come to an end. Chu Shanshan's older brother, Chu Quan, was the personal disciple of Mountain Master Ren of the Wood Peak. In the past, he was highly regarded. However, ever since the assassination incident last time, Mountain Master Ren had not treated Chu Quan as he used to. Moreover, in this war between the human race and the Yen race, Chu Quan's name was originally there, but Chu Quan found an excuse not to go. Mountain Master Ren was even more disappointed in Chu Quan. Chu Quan's thoughts were mysterious. He felt that if this continued, he might not be able to maintain his position as a successor disciple, so he had to find a new backer. The arrival of Murong Hanlai and the others this time instantly gave him hope. He felt that in the end, the Shi Yuan sect would definitely fall into Murong Hanlai's hands. Therefore, not only did he often go to Wen Qianchuan and the others to curry favor with them, but he also brought Chu Shanshan along to do so. Because the Chu siblings were somewhat useful, Wen Qianchuan was also quite nice to the Chu siblings. The Chu siblings had often fanned the flames in front of Wen Qianchuan. Moreover, Yun Chujiu had already offended Wen Qianchuan, so today, Wen Qianchuan had set up a trap, waiting for Yun Chujiu to take the bait. When Chu Shanshan thought of Yun Chujiu's ending, the pride in her eyes could not be hidden any longer. She urged, Yun Chujiu, are your ears not working or something? Did you hear what I said? Senior Wen wants you to hurry over. I'm not going. Get lost. He Xinjiu shut the door with a bang. She was not stupid. Wen Qianchuan was definitely not looking for her. She was not going. Even in her dreams, Qiu Shanshan did not expect such an outcome. She shouted in exasperation, "How dare you not go when Senior Wen asked you to? Aren't you afraid that Senior Wen will report you to the sect leader?" He Xinjiu snorted coldly in the courtyard, "Don't drag me down with you. You are a disciple of the murderous Yuan sect, not Wen Qianchuan's lackey. Get lost. If you don't leave now, I will use the talisman to blow you into a curly chicken." Chu Shanshan was so angry that she almost died. However, when she thought about how He Xinjiu could do anything, she left in a huff. He Xinjiu rolled her eyes. There was a high chance that Wen Qianchuan would not let the matter rest. He might even come and find fault with her personally. He Xinjiu snorted coldly. It was fine if he did not come. If he did, she would teach him a lesson so that her De Hua could make an appearance. Speaking of which, although its De Hua was very brave, it hadn't been shown in front of these people yet. It was a good opportunity to establish its power, so that it wouldn't think that a small handyman like her was easy to provoke. After a while, as expected, Chu Shanshan's proud shout came from outside the door, "Yun Chujiu, Senior Wen is here. Why aren't you going out to greet him?" He Xinjiu curled her lips. Judging from Wen Qianchuan's unrestrained behavior, it was impossible for them to get the position of the sect leader. Outside, Chu Shanshan shouted when she saw Yun Chujiu, "I know you're inside. If you don't come out now, I'll break in." Yun Chujiu said coldly, "Chu Shanshan, if you dare to break my door, I'll break your leg. If you don't believe me, you can try." Hearing Yun Chujiu's threat, Chu Shanshan was terrified. Wen Qianchuan snorted and smashed He Xinjiu's door into pieces. Seeing the situation inside, Wen Qianchuan and the others were stunned on the spot. Wen Qianchuan and the others saw He Xinjiu sitting beside the stone table, leisurely drinking tea. There were all kinds of pastries on the stone table, looking very relaxed. Qiu Shanshan said sharply, "Yun Chujiu, why don't you open the door for Senior Wen? Don't you know that the elders are superior to the young?" Yun Chujiu did not even look at her and said leisurely, "I only know that no guest would come uninvited and even break the door of the host's house. It seems that the customs of the Sea of Ruins are 80% different from ours." Wen Qianchuan snorted coldly, "What a sharp-tongued girl. Today, I will teach you the rules." When Wen Qianchuan was in the meeting hall, he wanted to teach Yun Chujiu a lesson. However, because of Master Xiahou and the others, he swallowed his anger and did not make a move. He felt that although Yun Chujiu had made contributions in the battle between the human race and the nightmare race, it was all an empty title. At the end of the day, she was just a small handyman. Even if he really killed her, no one could do anything to her. As Wen Qianchuan spoke, he slapped his palm towards Yun Chujiu. Yun Chujiu naturally would not sit still and wait for her death. She leaped to the side and dodged Wen Qianchuan's palm. However, Wen Qianchuan's palm smashed the stone table and stone stool into pieces. Yun Chujiu's eyes turned cold. "Senior Wen, you are not my master, and you are not a member of the Shi Yuan sect. What right do you have to teach me a lesson? Could it be that you can't force Master Xiahou to give up the position of the sect master to you, and you are going to start a massacre? Smelly girl. Don't spout nonsense. Today, I am going to lecture you, this little slut who doesn't know your place. Don't talk about it elsewhere." Wen Qianchuan said in a flustered and exasperated manner. "Smelly girl. Little slut. TSK, Senior Wen's words are really filthy. I wonder if it was Senior Murong who instructed you to lecture me. You guys are really capable. You don't dare to reason with Master Xiahou and the others, yet you dare to bully me, a small handyman who is lighting a fire. However, even the small handyman who is lighting a fire in the murderous origin sect is not someone to be trifled with. I'm warning you, stop right now, or I won't hold back anymore. Although Hei Shinjo had long been prepared to make a move, she did so with courtesy first, so that she would not be picked on by others. This fellow was afraid that a fight would destroy her courtyard. He ran out of the courtyard in a flash and shouted, "If you have the ability, come out and fight. I'm not even afraid of the Nightmare Clan, so why should I be afraid of you?" When Qianchuan was already very angry. After being provoked by Hei Xinjia's words, he became even angrier. His figure flashed and he slapped Yun Chuzhou once again. Hei Shinjo dodged when Qianchuan's attack nimbly again. The two of them fought each other. However, Hei Shinjo did not fight back. She just kept dodging. The guy shouted while he was dodging, "Come and take a look, everybody. Someone is bullying a little girl because of his old age. He is so shameless. How strange." As a guest, he did not stay in the guest house properly. Instead, he came to my yard, where I was a handyman, to beat someone up. A guy like him wants to steal the position of the sect leader of our Shi Yuan sect. Do you think he is shameless? Don't miss him. The most shameless person on the Immortal Essence continent is the one in front of you. He beat up the Nightmare Clan like a cowardly turtle, but now he's here to beat up the hero of the Battle Nightmare Clan. Yun Chujia's shout quickly attracted many disciples of the Killing Origin sect. However, because Hei Xinjia's dormitory was at the foot of the Golden Peak, most of the people in the vicinity were handymen and outer court disciples. Although they were filled with righteous indignation at Hei Xinjia's words, they did not dare to step forward to help. Hei Shinjo blinked her eyes and shouted, "Senior brothers and sisters, are you going to watch me being bullied? What about your courage as the disciples of the Heaven-Killing sect? Don't make me look down on you." The servants and disciples of the Heaven-Killing sect had been very dissatisfied with Wen Qianchuan and the rest of them recently. Together with Hei Xinjia's instigation, they were all in an uproar. Yes, beat him up. Damn it, our Sky-Killing sect was originally fine, but they just had to come and cause trouble. That's right. Yun Chuzhou, a small odd job worker, is not even afraid of him. What are we afraid of? It's a waste not to beat him up. Let's beat him up together. When Qianchuan did not come alone. He had also brought 7 or 8 disciples. But how could he be a match for so many people? In an instant, he was beaten black and blue. Even Chu Shanshan was implicated and was beaten up a few times. Seeing this, Wen Qianchuan flew into a rage out of humiliation. He immediately released his own spiritual beast, a huge spiritual tiger and 2 huge spiritual wolves. The 3 huge spiritual beasts instantly intimidated the odd job workers and outer sect disciples of the Shi Yuan sect. Everyone was so scared that they retreated one after another. Only then did they remember that this Wen Qianchuan was said to be at the 4th layer of the spiritual space realm. Although they had more people, they were still not his match. When Qianchuan looked at Yun Chuzhou coldly and said, "Stupid girl, you are good at bewitching people, but in the face of absolute strength, your little tricks are useless. Die." Seeing that the situation was not good, the people of the Shi Yuan sect hurriedly shouted at Yun Chuzhou, "Yun Chuzhou, don't be stupid. Run quickly. Yes, run quickly. If you don't run, you will die. Go find Master Xiahou quickly." The corner of Yun Chujia's mouth curled up slightly, and she said with curved brows and eyes, "Why are you running? Isn't it just a silly cat and 2 broken dogs? If my spirit beast is released, it will definitely scare them to death. Everyone, don't you even recognize tigers and wolves? Moreover, there is a limit to your bragging, okay? Let's not talk about what your spirit beast is. How can a spirit beast at the 6th level of the Lingxian realm compare to a spirit beast at the 4th level of the Lingkong realm? This Yun Chuzhou was usually quite smart, but why was she so confused today? Could it be that she had become a hero of the human race and got carried away? Just when everyone was puzzled, they saw Hei Shinjo raise her hand, and with a whoosh, a cute spiritual piglet jumped out. Everyone was stunned. Piglet? Are you playing? Just as everyone was thinking, 20 cute little piggy with spiritual power jumped out. Could it be that Yun Chujo wanted to win with numbers? Stop fooling around. Such a weak spiritual beast, not to mention 20, even 200 would be a waste. When Qianchuan snorted, Yun Chujo, do you think you can win against my spiritual beast with these little piggies? Yun Chujo nodded solemnly, yes, I will show you my invincible little piggies today. Both Wen Qianchuan and the people of the Shi Yuan sect thought that He Xinjiu must have lost her mind. It would be a miracle if these little piggies could win. When Qianchuan snorted, you really won't shed tears until you see the coffin. Prepare to die. When Qianchuan waved his hand and 3 spiritual beasts pounced towards He Xinjiu. The people of the murderous Yuan sect could not bear to watch. There was no need to guess the result. Yun Chujo was dead for sure. Those piglets of spiritual power could not even hold on for more than 10 breaths, let alone defeat those 3 spiritual beasts. The group of people closed their eyes and waited for a while, but they did not hear He Xinjiu's scream. They opened their eyes and took a look. Those piglets of spiritual power actually blocked 3 spiritual power beasts. Only then did they realize that the most special thing about those piglets of spiritual power was that they could actually turn the enemy's spiritual power into their own. Therefore, even if they were very weak, they could still hold on for a period of time. TSK, although this Yun Chujia's spiritual beast was a little weak, it was quite strange. When Qianchuan was obviously a little surprised, but he snorted coldly and said, Yun Chujo, although your spiritual beast is a little special, in a few more breaths, your spiritual beast won't be able to hold on. Yun Chujo said indifferently, if you can't hold on, then you can't hold on. I'm not in a hurry, why are you in a hurry? Are you crazy? When Qianchuan almost spat out a mouthful of blood, good. Stupid girl, you're still stubborn even at the end of your life. You'll have a hard time later. The people of the murderous Yuan sect had the same thoughts as Wen Qianchuan. They thought to themselves, is this Yun Chujo stupid? Why didn't she use this time to escape? When the little piglet of spiritual power dissipated, she would be dead for sure. Sure enough, after a few dozen breaths, the little piglet's figure became fainter and fainter. It looked like it was about to dissipate. When Qianchuan's face revealed a proud expression. Although this wretched girl's spiritual power was not high, she was definitely a scourge. It was just nice to find a reason to kill her today. Once and for all. Chu Shanshan, who was at the side, said proudly, Yun Chujo, just admit your mistake and beg for mercy. Otherwise, you will definitely die a horrible death. She no longer cared about the thoughts of the murderous Origin sect disciples. A bunch of idiots. Her brother was the most knowledgeable one. Once they took power, HMPH. The people of the murderous Origin sect looked at Yun Chujo worriedly. They were worried and conflicted. Should they rush up to save her later? Save them. Those 3 spiritual beasts were not to be trifled with. They might be seriously injured. However, if they did not save them, they would still feel guilty. Just as everyone was in a dilemma, someone suddenly cried out. Oh my God! What is this? Everyone saw that the spiritual piglets that were about to disappear had actually gathered into a huge purple pig. Oh my God! This huge purple pig was more than 10 times bigger than that spiritual lion. How could there be such a huge spiritual beast? When Qianchuan's 3 spiritual beasts were shivering in fear and kept retreating. He Xinjiu crossed her shoulders and stood on her tiptoes. She said proudly, see that? The piglets that appeared before were all De Hua's underlings. This is my invincible giant pig, De Hua. De Hua looked at the 3 spiritual beasts that were trembling on the ground lazily. One of them was killed with a stomp, while the other one had nothing to do. He simply stomped on Wen Qianchuan. Wen Qianchuan was simply dumbfounded. What the hell was this? How could Yun Chujo have such a big spiritual beast? And it was purple in color. Now was obviously not the time to think about this. Wen Qianchuan kept dodging De Hua's attacks. Fortunately, spiritual beasts were not as agile as cultivators, so when Qianchuan dodged De Hua's attacks with a few flashes, he also jumped out of De Hua's attack range. He had escaped, but Chu Shanshan was not so lucky. De Hua's tail had sent her flying, and the direction was coincidentally the canteen of the big kitchen. Yun Chujiu looked at Wen Qianchuan in the distance with disdain and said slowly, "De Hua, don't chase after the enemy. Come back." Yun Chujiu was very shrewd and knew when to stop. The reason why she was able to win was firstly because De Hua was indeed brave, and secondly because Wen Qianchuan was unprepared. If they really fought, she might not be able to gain the upper hand. Wen Qianchuan gave Yun Chujiu a vicious look. "Stupid girl, we are not done yet. Just you wait." After Wen Qianchuan finished his harsh words, he left with his underlings. As for Chu Shanshan, who fell into the porridge pot again, she was naturally ridiculed by the murderous Yuan sect disciples. On the other hand, He Xinjia's side was as warm as spring. Everyone's praises were incessant. What about junior sister Yun's spiritual beast being the best in the world? What about only a unique person like junior sister Yun having such a powerful spiritual beast? He Xinjiu could not close her mouth with a smile. It seemed that strength was the true principle. She had not received so much praise even after saving the human race, so she still had to think of a way to be struck by lightning. This way, she would become more and more powerful, and her De Hua would become stronger. However, in case that when Qianchuan retaliated, she had to take the initiative to attack. Yun Chujiu blinked her eyes, she stood on a large rock and said, "Everyone, you've all seen it. That old man Wen Qianchuan is too much of a bully. He hasn't even taken over the power yet and he's already bullying our people from the murderous Yuan sect. If he succeeds, we won't have a way to live. Do you all want to teach him a lesson?" Everyone was naturally filled with righteous indignation. This was how people were. When there were no external enemies, they would fight among themselves. If there really were external enemies, then they would be united against the outside world. Yun Chujiu nodded. "Since that's the case, you all listen to me. Well, do it this way." On the other side, when Qianchuan returned to the guest house dejectedly. After Murong Hanlai found out what had happened, he gave Wen Qianchuan a good scolding. "You have done more than you can do. You and Xiahou Lin are of the same generation, but you actually went to find trouble with a small handyman. What's more shameful is that you lost. What's the use of keeping a good-for-nothing like you? You might as well die." When Qianchuan's old face flushed red from the scolding. "Master, didn't I do this for you? Didn't you tell me before that there was a chance for me to kill that Yun Chujiu? It just so happened that that idiot Chu Shanshan came to sow discord today, so I took the opportunity to go. Who would have thought that that wretched girl's spiritual beast would be so strange? It's also because I was too careless. Otherwise, she wouldn't be my match at all." Murong Hanli's expression softened slightly. You really can't keep your cool." "Humph. Xiahou Lin and the others think that I don't know their plans. I'm just playing along. Our people have already split up and left the Thousand Ruins Sea. Moreover, we have that person's help. In another 5 days, they will arrive near the origin killing sect. At that time, we will work together from the inside and outside. Not to mention that bitch Yun Chujiu, the entire origin killing sect will be ours." When Wen Qianchuan heard Murong Hanli's words, the dejection on his face was swept away. He said excitedly, "Master, I knew that you had your own arrangements. Then what should we do now?" Murong Hanli's eyes flashed with some calculation. "Tell the people below to behave themselves and not to cause any trouble for the time being. We will go and look for Xiahou Lin now. No matter what, we can't just let this matter go like this. We have to put pressure on them." Thus, he brought Wen Qianchuan to the meeting hall. As soon as they entered the meeting hall, they saw a female ghost standing in the middle of the meeting hall covered in blood, her hair disheveled. Even someone as thoughtful as Murong Hanlai was shocked. What the hell was this? The female ghost turned around and saw her face covered in blood. When she saw Murong Hanlai and Wen Qianchuan, she cried out in fear, "Help! Help! It's him! He wants to kill me!" Murong Hanlai and Wen Qianchuan finally saw clearly that it wasn't a female ghost, it was clearly Yun Chuzhou, that smelly girl. Before they could speak, Sect Master Xiahou said unhappily, "Master Murong, I was just about to send someone to invite you, but junior brother Wen beat little Jiu up to this state. He's really going too far." Just now, little Jiu was cultivating in the courtyard, but junior Wen went to her courtyard to commit a crime. Even though little Jiu was a little over the top a few days ago, as an elder, junior Wen shouldn't have beaten her up to this state in private, right? As soon as Master Xiahou finished his words, He Xinjiu wailed, "Senior Murong, you have to make a decision for me. Not only did Senior Wen beat me up to this state, but he also beat up many disciples. If you don't believe me, I will ask them to come over and let you have a look." Wen Qianchuan was so angry that he almost passed out. He pointed at Hei Xinjiu and said, You are spouting nonsense." "Senior Wen, how am I spouting nonsense? Do you dare swear to the heavens that you didn't go to my courtyard? You are a guest, and you are an elder. Why didn't you stay in the guest house? Why did you go to the courtyard of a handyman? Also, didn't you break my stone table and chair? Did you not release your 3 spiritual beasts to deal with us? Oh my God! I am only a trash of the 6th level of the Lingxian realm, and he, a senior of the 4th level of the spiritual void realm, actually released 3 spiritual beasts to deal with me. It is simply the blessing of the heavens that I can keep my life." He Xinjiu's words made the listeners feel sad, and those who heard it shed tears. Although Master Xiahou and the others looked indignant on the surface, they were secretly happy in their hearts. This little girl was used to playing the fool. They did not believe that she was really beaten so badly. Just as when Qianchuan was about to speak, he heard many people outside the meeting hall stretching their necks and shouting that they had been wronged. They were begging the sect leader to make the decision. Everyone looked outside the door and saw that there were people kneeling on the ground outside the meeting hall. Most of them were servants and outer sect disciples of the murderous origin sect. Their faces and clothes were also covered in blood. Clearly, they had also been beaten up. Sect Master Xiahou placed the teacup heavily on the coffee table. "Junior Martial Brother Wen, you have gone too far. Master Murong, how do you think we should handle this matter?" When Qianchuan was about to defend himself when Murong Hanlai gave him a look and said, "Junior Martial Nephew Xiahou, this matter was indeed done rashly by Qianchuan. I will definitely punish him heavily when I go back." Yun Chuzhou curled her lips and said, "He is your own disciple. Who knows if you will really punish him when you go back? Moreover, will your upper and lower lips be done with just a touch? Are we going to spend money to treat our injuries? Are we going to spend money to treat our injuries? Are we going to delay our work and not spend money?" Murong Hanlai tried hard to suppress the anger in his heart and said coldly, "Then according to what you said, what do you want to do?" "It's very simple. Senior Wen, apologize to me in public and compensate us with 1 billion high-grade spirit stones. We won't pursue this matter any further." 1 billion. Not to mention Murong Hanlai and Wen Qianchuan, even the corner of Master Zaihe's eyes twitched a little. "Little Jiu, that's enough. 1 billion. Why don't you go and rob her?" The servants and outer sect disciples outside the door were all scared silly. This Yun Chuzhou really dared to ask for it. But, could she give it? Murong Hanlai clenched his fists and suppressed his anger. He said coldly, "Little girl, a snake swallows an elephant when its heart is not enough. 1 billion is impossible. I will give you 100,000 spirit stones." 100,000? Are you sure you are not sending away beggars? Forget it, if you don't want to give it to us, then we will give him a taste of his own medicine. Isn't Wen Qianchuan bullying us? Then well, go to the Sea of 10,000 Ruins to bully your disciples and see who's really powerful. Speaking of which, I've never been to the Sea of 10,000 Ruins before, so I'll just go for a stroll. Hey Xinjia's words were pure nonsense. She wouldn't really go to the Sea of 10,000 Ruins, it was just to extort money. However, the speaker had no intention of listening, so Murong Hanley's heart skipped a beat. The people of the Sea of 10,000 Ruins had already divided into small groups and rushed to the sky-killing sect. It was not the time to cause any more trouble. It was better to settle this matter first. After all, no matter how much money she was given, it would still belong to them in the end. Thinking of this, Murong Hanlai said coldly, 10 million, no more. 900 million. 20 million. 800 million. 30 million. In the end, they haggled over the price. Hei Xinjiu successfully extorted 80 million high-grade spirit stones, and everyone was dumbfounded. How could this work? She extorted 80 million with just a few simple words. Was that Murong Hanley's brain damaged? Obviously, Murong Hanlai was not joking. He immediately transferred 90 to 80 million high-grade spirit stones to Hei Xinjiu. Hei Xinjiu said with a smile, Senior Murong really loves juniors like us. Senior Wen, it's your turn now. Apologize. Remember to be sincere. Moreover, my ears are not working properly because of your beating. You must apologize louder. The corners of everyone's mouths twitched. Their ears were not working properly. When you were bargaining for spirit stones just now, why didn't I see that your ears were not working properly? When Qianchuan saw Murong Hanley's dark and cold eyes. Although he was extremely unwilling, he still gritted his teeth and said, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have hit you. Forget it. I've always been easy to talk to. Since you've apologized, let's pretend this never happened. Hei Xinjiu said with a smile. When Qianchuan was so angry that he was trembling, but he didn't dare to disobey Murong Hanley's order. He could only make up his mind. Damn girl, if I let you run around for a few more days, you'll die in 5 days. Murong Hanlai said some more polite words and reminded Master Xiahou to make the final decision quickly. Then, he left with Wen Qianchuan. Mountain Master Zhao grinned and said, Ha! Little girl, you're really good. You actually extorted 80 million high-grade spiritual stones from that old thing. You've made a fortune this time. Mountain Master Zhao, this money isn't all mine. I still have to share it with the other senior brothers and sisters. After all, we're all victims. We've been beaten up badly. Hei Xinjiu said while grimacing. Mountain Master Zhao pursed his lips. It would be a ghost if he believed her words. Seeing that there was nothing else, Master Xiahou let Hei Xinjiu go back first. The moment Hei Xinjiu went out, she naturally received very high treatment. Some people even built a pole and carried this guy back. These people had no one else to share the money with. Hei Xinjiu happily returned to being the grandmother of the god of wealth. She only kept 1 million and gave the rest of the money to others. Only when there was something to give would there be something to give. When there was something to give, it had to be given. The crowd was naturally full of praise. What little fairy Jiu was invincible in the world, what Murong Hanlai was just a paper, an old man, a tiger, blah, 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 blah. Hei Xinjiu listened and her heart moved. Something was not right. That Murong Hanlai was not someone easy to talk to. How could she extort 80 million high-grade spirit stones so easily? There must be something fishy going on here. The more Yun Chujiu thought about it, the more she felt that something was wrong. However, what was Murong Hanlai up to? Could it be that the results would be out in 5 days, so he didn't want to cause any more trouble? No, he didn't know whether the results would be good or bad in 5 days. Why was he so sure that he would take the position of sect leader? Hei Xinjiu analyzed the situation and felt that there was only one possibility. Murong Hanlai was certain that the position of sect master would be his. Since that was the case, he must have a foolproof plan. Even if Master Xiahou didn't give up the position of sect master to him, he still had a way to get it. He Xinjiu narrowed her eyes. What could that old thing do? She wanted to temporarily contract a few spirit bees to scout for information, but that old thing was cautious and had high spiritual power. If things went wrong, it might alert the enemy. He Xinjiu thought for a moment and ran back to the meeting hall in a flash. Master Xiahou and the others were discussing Murong Hanlai's matter. When they saw Yun Chujiu return, they all looked at her in confusion. He Xinjiu explained her doubts and analysis, then said, I think that old thing must have some kind of scheme, but I haven't figured out what he wants to do. You little girl, you're thinking the same as us. We were also discussing just now. According to Murong Hanlai's usual temper, how could he allow you to extort 80 million upper-grade spiritual stones? There must be something wrong. Mountain Master Zhao of Fire Peak said with a big mouth. Everyone discussed for a while, and finally, He Xinjiu repeated what she had said to Murong Hanlai. Then, He Xinjiu's eyes lit up. At first, his attitude was tough. But when I suggested going to the Sea of 10,000 Ruins to settle scores with his disciples and grand disciples, his attitude changed. It seems that we should focus on the Sea of 10,000 Ruins. Master Xiahou frowned. Could it be that the people from the Sea of 10,000 Ruins have already come to the murderous origin sect? Are they trying to attack from the inside and the outside to force me to hand over the position of sect master? Yun Chujiu clapped her hands. That's most likely the case. Otherwise, that Murong Hanlai wouldn't have proposed to give us 10 days so long. I'm afraid that in another 5 days, those people will arrive near our murderous origin sect. I reckon that he didn't expect us to give up the position of sect master to him at the very beginning. Firstly, he was trying to build up momentum. Secondly, he was trying to cooperate with us from the inside. That old thing is really insidious. Master Xiahou didn't dare to delay and immediately sent people to secretly inquire about the news. Very soon, the news came back. Several thousand miles away from the murderous Yuan sect, many cultivators suddenly appeared. Although they were scattered in groups of 3 to 5, it was clear that their destination was the murderous Yuan sect. Master Xiahou could not contain his anger. Although he did not intend to give the position of sect master to Murong Hanlai, he did not have the slightest intention of harming him. After all, they were of the same origin. He did not expect Murong Hanlai to actually plan to kill them all. It was really detestable. Everyone, what do you think we should do next? Master Xiahou suppressed his anger and asked. Everyone had different opinions. Some advocated to send people to intercept the people of the Sea of Ruins, some thought to activate the sect protection array, and some advocated to kill Murong Hanlai and the others. He Xinjiu pursed her lips, she raised her claws and said, Master, what you said is a passive method. Even if we kill Murong Hanlai and the others, the people of the Sea of Ruins will inevitably stop causing trouble in the future. We have to think of a way to get rid of them once and for all. Get it done once and for all? How? Everyone looked at He Xinjiu in confusion. The root of this matter is Patriarch Hongyuan's eldest disciple, Ji Qian. Because Patriarch Hongyuan said that he would pass the position of sect master to him, Murong Hanlai and the others came to find trouble with him. Let's get rid of this unstable factor completely. Then we won't have to worry about people coming over to make trouble again. He Xinjiu's eyes flashed with cunning. How do we get rid of it? Everyone asked in puzzlement. It's very simple. Change the sect's will. Just say that Ji Qian defected to the sect back then. It's just that the murderous origin sect was afraid of losing face, so they never made it public. In addition, the murderous origin sect is a super large sect. For the sake of the peace, stability, unity, and unity of the immortal essence continent, they didn't pursue the crimes of those people from the Sea of 10,000 Ruins. Otherwise, they would all be the disciples and grand disciples of sinners, they should all be killed. He Xinjiu said faintly. Master Xiahou and the others were immediately dumbstruck. Their faces were filled with bewilderment. Heavens! This little girl was too ruthless. This idea was simply lacking 8 lifetimes of virtue. No wonder the Nightmare Clan had allowed her to stir up internal strife. With such a bad thing, offending her was simply courting death. Master Xiahou asked weakly, "Little Nine, isn't this a bit too much?" After all, Ji Qian did not defect to the sect. Yun Chuzhou snorted coldly. "Master, don't blame me for my harsh words. If you don't prove Ji Qian's crime, not only you, but also your previous master and your future successor will be criticized by the world. They will say that you are a bunch of crooks occupying a magpie's nest. Don't you understand that if you die, your fellow Taoist won't die? Moreover, that Ji Qian was obviously not a good person. Why didn't he return to the origin-killing sect? It was either because the position of sect master had been taken by Grandmaster Zhuang, and he felt indignant. Or it was because he thought he had a better choice, and that was why he did not return to the origin-killing sect. Grandmaster Zhuang's position as sect master was not obtained through insidious means. It was recommended by everyone. You have to have the confidence to do so. People's opinions can change. Who knows, maybe Patriarch Hung Yuan changed his mind later on. Master Xiaohu's expression changed a few times. He had to admit that what Yun Chuzhou said made sense. He had to constantly suffer the consequences. For the sake of the future of the murderous origin sect, he could only be this evil person. Thus, after some discussion, they decided to first kill Murong Hanlai and his disciple. The rest of them would be educated and then released. After that, they would announce the truth of the matter. If that was the case, the people of the Sea of 10,000 Ruins would be leaderless. In addition, the killing origin sect had already made preparations. Naturally, they would retreat. After He Xinjiu left, Master Xiahou let out a long sigh. "Ladies and gentlemen, our wrists are not as good as a little girl's. We are really getting old." Everyone also sighed, but that was all they could do. Their wrists were good, their mouths were good, and their spiritual energy was weak. In front of absolute strength, all little tricks were useless. He Xinjiu did not need to intervene in the following matters. Although Murong Hanlai was powerful, this was still the territory of the origin-killing sect. Even before his death, he did not understand that it was a foolproof plan. How could it fail? Wen Qianchuan naturally could not escape his fate of death. However, Murong Hanlai's other followers were saved. Master Xiahou threatened and comforted them. Those people had no choice but to agree with the statement of the origin murder sect. It was that Ji Qian had betrayed the origin murder sect because he was dissatisfied with Patriarch Hung Yuan passing the position of sect master to Zhuang Muli. With the signature and the recording stone as evidence, it was almost impossible for the people of the Sea of 10,000 Ruins to reverse the confession. The prime murder sect immediately released the evidence to the world, and the people of the Sea of Myriad Ruins were instantly dumbfounded. How did the orthodoxy that they had originally agreed upon turn into a traitor? When the people of the Sea of 10,000 Ruins heard that Murong Hanlai and Wen Qianchuan had committed suicide, they became even more confused. What should they do next? They did not have much confidence in attacking the murderous origin sect to begin with. Most of them had water spirit roots and were not good at fighting on land. Now, they were even more tempted to retreat. Thus, after Murong Hanlai's followers were released, they led the people of the Thousand Ruins Sea to retreat in dejection. The battle for the sect master of the primordial murder sect had come to an end. Moreover, they had taken the opportunity to eliminate some of the sect's scum. This could be considered an unexpected gain. In a hidden valley somewhere in the Immortal Essence continent, the purple-faced woman was so angry that she almost went mad when she heard her subordinates report. "You said that the people from the Sea of 10,000 Ruins have all retreated?" "Yes. My lord, Murong Hanlai had contacted me the day before and said that things were progressing smoothly." I didn't expect that he would be killed the next day. Moreover, the murderous origin sect had even twisted the truth, saying that Ji Qian was a traitor, a deserter, and now that the public opinion in the immortal origin continent was leaning towards the murderous origin sect, I was really caught unprepared. There was simply no time to react. The gold-masked man kneeled on the ground as he spoke in fear and trepidation. The purple-masked woman waved her hand, causing the gold-masked man to instantly collapse to the ground. He did not even dare to wipe the blood from the corner of his mouth as he hurriedly kneeled again. Sir, this time, it is indeed my fault. This subordinate knows his mistake. The purple-masked woman snorted coldly. I have underestimated the essence-killing sect. I did not expect that they would actually come up with such an idea. Otherwise, once the two sides engage in battle, our people would take the opportunity to intervene, and the essence-killing sect would be ours. Forget it. Get up and tell us the people we have planted in the two sects to find a way to provoke a fight between the origin-killing sect and the origin-mixed sect, so that they can kill each other. Yes. Although Hei Xinjiu had been enjoying herself recently, she was not happy at all. It had been a long time since she had been struck by lightning. How could she be struck by lightning? She followed the principle of asking if she did not understand. When she captured someone, she asked, how can she be struck by lightning? The disciples of the sky-killing sect felt that this Yun Chujiu was most likely crazy. However, they did not dare to not answer. The answers were also varied. There were things like being struck by lightning for doing bad things, being struck by lightning for not keeping one's oath, and being struck by lightning for insulting the Tian Dao. Hei Xinjiu wanted to cry, but she had no tears. She had tried all these, but she had not been struck by lightning. She was really worried to death. Could it be that she had to return to the Chaos Origin sect and enter the Cave of Reflection? However, Master Bailey was even better than Monkey. He did not punish her to enter the Cave of Reflection at all. Hei Xinjiu's mood was extremely depressed. She decided to take a stroll on Earth Peak to relax. The reason why this fellow chose Earth Peak was because this fellow had harmed the Fire Peak, Wood Peak, and Water Mountain of the Murder Origin sect. He had not harmed the Earth Peak before. He had not even been there. It was a good opportunity to take a look. When Hei Xinjiu hopped onto the Earth Peak, although the Earth Peak disciples did not reject her as much as before, they still avoided her as much as possible. Wherever Hei Xinjiu went, the Earth Peak disciples disappeared without a trace. Hei Xinjiu touched her nose. She was already a hero of the human race now, okay? Why was she so afraid of her? Was she that scary? The 5 peaks of the murderous origin sect got their names because of their own characteristics. For example, the trees on the Wood Peak were verdant, and most of the disciples had wood-type spiritual roots. Similarly, most of the disciples on the Earth Peak had earth-type spiritual roots. Their attacking methods were earth cracks, earth thorns, earth walls, earth shields, and so on. The scenery on the Earth Peak was very scarce. Hei Xinjiu thought wickedly that it was probably because the disciples of the Earth Peak often damaged the surface of the ground when they were cultivating, so the plants did not grow well. Hei Xinjiu walked around the Earth Peak, but she did not find anything interesting. In addition, although the Earth Peak disciples avoided her, they stared at her from afar, as if they were staring at a thief. Hei Xinjiu was angry. Didn't she have a criminal record for stealing green jade lotus roots? Did they have to stare at her like that? Besides, there were pitifully few trees on the Earth Peak, and there were no hot springs or anything like that. Even if she wanted to take advantage of them, she wouldn't be able to. Hei Xinjiu suddenly had a thought. These Earth Peak disciples were so nervous. Perhaps the Earth Peak really did have some treasures. Therefore, she continued to hop around and observe the reactions of the disciples. Just when she was about to hop towards the back of the Earth Peak, the disciples became anxious. Junior sister Yun, it's getting late. You'd better go back now. Yun Chujiu looked at the sun hanging high in the sky. It was already late in the afternoon. Is there something wrong with your eyes? Junior sister Yun, the road ahead is bumpy. Don't go any further. Bumpy road? Yun Chujio looked at the wide road ahead. It seemed that his eyesight was not very good either. Hei Shinjo was even more certain that there must be a treasure at the back of the Earth Peak. She blinked her eyes and said, "Why are you all so nervous?" "I'm just going to take a look." Everyone's faces stiffened. Just to take a look? Who didn't know that you were the biggest bad news bag of the Shuyuan sect? Even Yen Guo was going to pluck his feathers, not to mention their Earth Peak's treasure. Some smart disciples hurriedly sent a message to the Earth Peak's Peak Master Lien. They could not stop this bad news bag, but the Peak Master would find a way. Mountain Master Lien of Earth Peak was having tea with Mountain Master Ren of Wood Peak. After receiving the message, Ma Shan ran out of the courtyard like a rabbit. Mountain Master Ren was very puzzled and quickly followed. "Old Lien, what happened?" Mountain Master Lien gritted his teeth and said, "Yun Chujia's evil thing went to the back mountain of Earth Peak. I have to go there as soon as possible. Otherwise, if that evil thing finds the Earth Tower, it might blow up. This guy even dares to blow up his self-reflection cave, so the Earth Tower is even easier to deal with." Mountain Master Ren thought of the precious thorn on his wood peak and said sympathetically, "Then we really should hurry over. That bad news bag is capable of doing anything." When Mountain Master Ren and Mountain Master Lien rushed to the back mountain of the Earth Peak, they saw that there were already a lot of Earth Peak disciples surrounding them. Mountain Master Ren asked anxiously, "Where is that bad news bag?" "Mountain Master Ren, how can you say that about me? How can I be the troublemaker?" Hei Shinjo sat on a tilted tree and asked unhappily. Yun Chujo had wanted to go to the back mountain to take a look, but the Earth Peak disciples were determined not to let her go to the back mountain, so she had no choice but to jump on a tilted tree to think of a way to escape. Mountain Master Ren's old face turned red. It was one thing to say it behind his back, but it was another thing to say it in person. Moreover, he was an elder, so he laughed dryly, "Little Joe, I'm just teasing you. Since you're here at the Earth Peak, it's lunchtime. Come to my place for lunch." When Hei Shinjo heard that there was delicious food, she immediately jumped down from the crooked tree and said with a smile, "Then, thank you, Mountain Master Ren." Mountain Master Ren heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. He decided to set up a checkpoint at the entrance of the Earth Peak tomorrow to prevent this bad news bag from sneaking in again. Just as Mountain Master Ren was about to get up and leave, he heard a loud rumble from afar. Dust was flying in the air and his heart thumped. He immediately ignored Hei Shinjo and leaped towards the source of the sound. The people of Earth Peak also rushed over with grave expressions. Hei Shinjo blinked her eyes and followed behind secretly. When Hei Shinjo arrived at the scene of the accident, she saw a huge pit not far away. Stretching her neck, she saw that it seemed like an earth tower had sunk in. Hei Shinjo clicked her tongue in wonder. Only a small part of the earth tower was still exposed. It looked very exquisite. What was it used for? Why did it collapse all of a sudden? Damn, it was a good thing that she didn't come over. Otherwise, she would have been blamed for it. It was so close. So close. Peak Master Lien's expression was very ugly. This earth tower had been passed down for tens of thousands of years. Why did it suddenly collapse? Peak Master Lien instructed the Earth Peak disciples to dig the soil around the pit so that the earth tower would appear again. This way, he could determine what was going on. Most of the Earth Peak disciples had Earth spiritual roots, so they quickly moved the soil around the pit to the side, revealing the Earth Tower. Hei Shinjo had seen many towers before, but this was the first time she had seen a tower made of soil. She couldn't help but approach it curiously, wanting to see what kind of soil it was made of. At this moment, the light shone brightly. When everyone regained their sight, not only was the Earth Tower gone, even Hei Shinjo had disappeared. Peak Master Lien stomped his foot angrily. He knew it. That bad news had always been bad news, but now, not only did it steal their Earth Peak's treasure, it even went missing. It was simply too worrying. Hei Shinjo originally thought that she had been sucked into the Earth Tower. After all, such things had happened many times before. These so-called artifact spirits had their heads wrapped up and would always go against her. However, to her surprise, when she regained her sight, she was not in the tower. The Earth Tower stood not far away from her, and the place where she was standing was barren. There was nothing but gravel on the ground. Hei Shinjo frowned and walked to the door of the Earth Tower. Hey! Qi Ling, get out here. What's going on? No matter how loud Hei Shinjo shouted, there was no movement in the Earth Tower. Yun Chujiu frowned. Could it be that the Earth Tower had not produced Qi Ling yet? What was going on? Hei Shinjo thought about what had happened. Perhaps there was a teleportation array under the Earth Tower, and she was unlucky enough to be teleported here together with the Earth Tower. Hei Shinjo thought that the possibility was high, so she gave up looking for a breakthrough from the Earth Tower and started to look at the surrounding environment. The surroundings were quiet, as if she was the only living being in the world. Yun Chujiu looked into the distance and saw a gray fog. When she wanted to pass through it, she realized that it was actually a barrier. What kind of damned place was this? Hei Shinjo took out her voice transmission talisman and identity jade token, but found that they were not useful. She then picked up the jade token given to her by Di Biming, but she could not bear to use it after thinking about it. This guy blinked his eyes. Who cares where it is? Now that the medicinal herbs for the transfiguration pill had been gathered, it just so happened that there was no one else here. She would first refine a few furnaces of transfiguration pills. Therefore, Hei Shinjo took out the Heaven and Earth Universe furnace and threw in the medicinal herbs needed to refine the transfiguration pill. Then, she let it go. After all, the Heaven and Earth Universe furnace had a Qi Ling, so it would naturally refine it. A moment later, the fragrance of the pill drifted out. Hei Shinjo opened the lid of the pill furnace and saw 10 pills with golden patterns inside. She was very satisfied. After putting them away, she continued to refine. This guy was in a hurry to verify the efficacy of the disguise pill. First, he warned the Guai Chao not to secretly absorb the efficacy of the pill. Then, he cut off about 1/10 of the size of the disguise pill and stuffed it into his mouth. After Hei Shinjo put the medicine into her mouth, she felt that the taste was somewhat different from the transfiguration pill given to her by the old man of the Heaven Lake. This fellow did not think too much about it. It was probably because she had refined a heaven-grade pill, so the taste was different. After this fellow finished eating, he took out a mirror to take a look, but he did not find any changes in his appearance. Hei Shinjo frowned. Was it because she had eaten too little? That was not right. Logically speaking, the higher the quality, the more effective it should be. Forget it. She could not go out now anyway. Even if she ate the whole pill, it should not be a big deal. Therefore, he put the rest of the pills into his mouth. A moment later, a world-shaking howl was heard from the dead silence. Fuck. Can someone tell me what is going on? Hei Shinjo looked at her small arms and legs and felt like dying. Why did she look like she was only 3 or 4 years old? How was this a transformation pill? It was like a rejuvenation pill. Hei Shinjo then remembered that the monk had said that these were Buddha lotuses and not thousand-leaf golden-grade lotuses. She had not taken it to heart at that time. Could it be that they were not thousand-leaf golden-grade lotuses? Hei Shinjo quickly took out a lotus flower and looked at it carefully. Only then did she realize that she had really made a mistake. Although the lotus veins of thousand-leaf golden-grade lotuses were also golden in color, they were slightly red, and the one she held in her hand was completely golden in color. Hei Shinjo felt her head buzzing. Damn it, it was already quite miserable. She had not been able to come to Kue Shui all this while and had no way to have sex with the gigolo. But now, she had directly turned into a 3 or 4-year-old. How could she give birth to a hairline monkey? She had turned into a monkey. Hei Shinjo quickly looked for Guai Chao to help her while she was on the verge of a breakdown. She didn't want to be a little one all the time. He Xinjiu communicated with Guai Chao. Guai Chao helplessly expressed that it had never seen such a situation before, so it was also helpless. It could only seek its own fortune. He Xinjiu was so angry that she almost vomited blood. This fellow deceived himself and comforted himself. The effect of the disguise pill was only 10 days. After 10 days, she would be able to return to normal. Yes, that must be the case. At this moment, the second batch of pills had been refined. He Xinjiu was in no mood to continue refining pills. She tidied up randomly and sat on the ground in a daze. The small figure was particularly sorrowful. Guai Chao shook its leaves. It was rare for it to have a conscience. It expressed that it would feed it a few disguise pills and then study them again. He Xinjiu quickly took out a few disguise pills and swallowed them. After Guai Chao finished chewing the pills, it felt that the taste was quite good. It didn't expect that the little girl of He Xinjius was a self-taught genius. He Xinjiu, she really wanted to make this damn dog tail into a specimen. Guai Chao said in the end that it wanted to ponder over it, so He Xinjiu could only do this for now. He Xinjiu suddenly stood up and tested her spiritual power. Fortunately, her spiritual power was still at the 8th layer of the spiritual void tier. If her spiritual power also shrank, she would really hit a wall. He Xinjiu was not in a hurry to go out now. It would be a tragedy if she went out anyway. She might as well wait here for 10 days, and she might recover. Just when He Xinjiu was about to give up, she heard a snicker. She turned around and was about to find out who was snickering when a white light flashed in front of her eyes. Oh my God! Where did this girl come from? She's so pretty. Could she be some demon beast spirit? Isn't she wearing the sect uniform of our Killing Yuan sect? Could she be the illegitimate daughter of some senior brother? He Xinjiu was so angry that she almost vomited blood. Damn it, you are the demon beasts, your whole family is the demon beasts. You are the illegitimate daughters, your whole family is the illegitimate daughters. Are you blind? Can't you tell that she is Fairy Xiaojiu? He Xinjiu glared at those people angrily and realized that she was still in the mountain behind the earth peak. Behind her was the huge pit. Before He Xinjiu had the time to deal with those disciples, she heard someone exclaim, "Oh my God! The Earth Pagoda has appeared again. Great! The Earth Pagoda has returned." Everyone's attention was focused on the Earth Pagoda. He Xinjiu blinked her eyes. If she didn't leave now, when would she leave? Was she waiting to be ridiculed here? Thus, this fellow ran forward with his 2 short legs. Unfortunately, things didn't go as planned and they ran into Master Xiahou and the others not too far away. After Yun Chuzhou and the Earth Tower disappeared, Peak Master Lian searched around and found nothing. He then went to report to Master Xiahou, which was why Master Xiahou and the others came together. He Xinjiu wished that she could become invisible, but it was hard not to be noticed with her current state. Mountain Master Zhao of Fire Peak saw Little Bean at first glance. Whose child is this? Why is she here? Mountain Master Zhao shouted loudly. Master Xiahou and the others saw a pretty little girl in front of them. She was only 3 or 4 years old and was very cute. He Xinjiu blinked her eyes and bowed to everyone. Her soft child voice said, "Greetings, Sect Master and Peak Masters. Chu Chu came out to play. I'll be going home now. Goodbye." After saying that, He Xinjiu ran through the gaps of the crowd and disappeared without a trace. Master Xiahou and the others looked at each other. They had never heard of such a girl doll in the Killing Yuan sect. Which peak was she from? Peak Master Mo of Water Mountain frowned. Why did he feel that the girl doll looked familiar? Especially the way she blinked her eyes was very familiar. Peak Master Mo shook his head. Perhaps he had seen the little girl's parents before, so he felt that she looked familiar. At this moment, a disciple of Earth Mountain came over to report that Earth Tower had appeared once again. Everyone was overjoyed and temporarily put the matter of the little girl aside. Peak Master Lien almost burst into tears when he saw the Earth Tower that had been lost and recovered. Fortunately, Earth Tower had returned. Otherwise, he would have been a sinner of the murderous Yuan sect. While everyone was excited, they suddenly thought of a question. Yun Chujiu had disappeared with the Earth Pagoda. If the Earth Pagoda had returned, where was Yun Chujiu? Could she be inside the Earth Pagoda? However, the Earth Pagoda could only be opened with a jade token. How did she enter? At this moment, Peak Master Mo heard the disciples talking about the little girl. His heart moved and he asked, "What happened to the little girl you mentioned? How did she appear?" "That girl seemed to have appeared out of thin air. We were just wondering if she had turned into a demon beast." Where did she go?" The disciples were all talking at the same time. When Peak Master Mo recalled the eyes and brows of the girl, he was instantly dumbfounded. Could it be that the girl was Yun Chujiu? How was this possible? However, if she wasn't Yun Chujiu, why would she appear out of thin air? Moreover, why would a 3 or 4-year-old girl be so calm when playing? And her movement technique was so fast. The answer was obvious. That girl was Yun Chujiu's bad news bag. What kind of trick was this? When Mountain Master Mo told everyone his guess, they were all stunned. Mountain Master Zhao said with a wide grin, "Mountain Master Mo, don't joke around. How could a girl turn into a 3 or 4-year-old child? That's impossible. Maybe it's still impossible. Why don't we go to Yun Chujiu's dorm and take a look? I think it must be her." Mountain Master Mo said resolutely. Hearing what Mountain Master Mo said, everyone thought about the cause and effect of the matter. Perhaps that girl was really Yun Chujiu's troublemaker. Therefore, Master Xiaohou and the others came to He Xinjia's dorm. He Xinjiu was sitting on the stone chair in a daze. Her legs were shaking because she couldn't reach the ground. "Little Jiu, open the door." Mountain Master Zhao shouted. Although He Xinjiu was unwilling, she knew that the truth had been exposed and she couldn't hide it. She could only open the door with her short legs. At this moment, everyone was almost 90% sure that this person was Yun Chujiu. Otherwise, she wouldn't have appeared in Yun Chujiu's yard. Everyone looked at the girl's appearance again. She was indeed slightly different from the bad news bag, but after she grew up, she looked exactly the same. Mountain Master Zhao couldn't help but laugh. "Little 9 girl, how did you become like this?" Although Master Xiaohou and company knew that it wasn't very kind, they still smiled. This was too ridiculous. How did a little girl suddenly turn into a 3 or 4-year-old girl? He Xinjiu was already very depressed, but now that she saw everyone like this, she immediately burst into tears. Mountain Master Zhao saw He Xinjiu cry and immediately went numb. He hurriedly explained, "Little girl Jiu, don't cry. I'm not laughing at you, I am laughing at Peak Master Lien. Yes, I am laughing at him." Peak Master Lien, who was lying on the ground, was dumbfounded. Who had he provoked? Why was he laughing at him? But he also knew that now was not the time to argue. He could only stiffen his face and keep quiet. Master Xiaohou and the others were also embarrassed and tried to persuade him. They were a group of old men bullying a little child. If this was to be spread out, it would be extremely embarrassing. He Xinjiu cried for a while before she stopped sobbing. Master Xiaohou then asked tentatively, "Little Jiu, what happened? How did you become like this?" "I don't know either. After the white light flashed, I arrived at a desolate place. I looked around but couldn't find an exit. Then, I was teleported out and became like this," He Xinjiu said with a sobbing voice. He Xinjiu was too embarrassed to say that she had taken the wrong medicine. Moreover, she had refined it herself. Damn it, it was so embarrassing to say it out loud. Everyone looked at each other. It was the first time they had heard of such a thing. It was unbelievable. Everyone comforted Hei Shinjo. They would definitely help her find a famous doctor. They would definitely make her return to her original state. Hei Shinjo thought miserably in her heart. Visiting a famous doctor. Even Go Weiba couldn't do anything about it. Who could save her? The medicine was indeed not taken randomly. After everyone comforted her, Master Xiahou said, "Little Jiu, it's inconvenient for you to move now. Why don't I send a few female servants to take care of you?" Inconvenient to move? Hei Shinjo glanced at her small arms and legs. She couldn't help but feel sad. Damn it, she really wanted to smash into a wall. In the end, Hei Shinjo still rejected Master Xiaohu's good intentions. She still had to secretly think about the antidote. It would be inconvenient for others to move in. When Master Xiahou saw that Yun Chuzhou insisted on giving up, he instructed her to look for Len Kuei if she needed any help. He would let Len Kuei come and visit frequently. After Hei Shinjo nodded her head in agreement, Master Xiahou and the others left. In an instant, the news that Yun Chuzhou had turned into a little doll spread all over the murderous origin sect. "Hey, have you heard? That troublemaker has turned into a 3 or 4-year-old girl." I've heard. Do you think this is retribution for her bad deeds?" "Ha ha ha. Didn't she ask us how we were struck by lightning a few days ago?" Maybe she was struck by lightning. All of a sudden, the topic of discussion in the Killing Yuan sect was about Hei Shinjo. Many people were secretly guarding around Hei Xinjia's courtyard to see what had happened to her. Len Kuei had met her a few times and scolded the disciples. Junior sister Little Jiu was not a good-for-nothing, but she had saved the Killing Yuan sect and the human race. These people were always clinging on to her. How hateful. Hei Shinjo originally thought that after 10 days, everything would return to normal. In the end, after 10 days, she realized that she was still that fucking coward. She did not want to live anymore. Therefore, this fellow put mushrooms in the yard with a hopeless expression. SOB, sob. Now, she had to stand on a stool even when she was eating, even when she was sitting on a chair. Fuck, she simply could not live anymore. Len Kuei came to stare at Hei Shinjo almost every day. He was afraid that she would not be able to get over it, so he told her all the stories about her being disabled since ancient times. He also told her many stories about her heroic deeds in the past, trying to rebuild her confidence in life. Hei Shinjo still looked like she was dying. She thought that if Di Baiming saw her now, he would not want to live anymore. She hurriedly took out the voice transmission talisman. "Prince Charming, I'm going into seclusion for 2 months, no, half a year, so don't come looking for me for the time being." "Okay." Di Baiming's reply was as short as usual. Hei Shinjo was not in the mood to argue anymore. She put away the voice transmission talisman with her head drooping. Just as Hei Shinjo put away the voice transmission talisman, she heard Len Kuei reprimanding the disciples who were watching the fun. This guy narrowed his eyes. Did he think that she would be easy to bully if she became smaller? Damn it, he could vent his anger on them. Therefore, Hei Shinjo walked out of the door with her short legs. Seeing Hei Shinjo come out, Len Kuei was afraid that she would be provoked, so he hurriedly said, "Junior sister Xiaojiu, you go in first. I'll go in and tell you a story after I'm done reprimanding them." Hei Shinjo, what was a pig teammate? This was it. Those people had always ridiculed her. Now that Len Kuei said that he would tell her a story, wouldn't it make it more true that she was now a child? As expected, although those disciples lowered their heads to listen to Len Kuei's reprimand, they all winked at Hei Shinjo, gloating at her misfortune. "Senior brother Len Kuei, stop talking. I'll handle it myself." Hei Shinjo strode to Len Kuei's side with her short legs. She was not even as tall as his waist. She really wanted to die. Seeing this funny scene, the crowd could not hide their laughter and burst into laughter. Hei Shinjo squinted her eyes and took out a handful of talismans from her storage ring and threw them in front of her. Immediately, the laughter turned into a scream. Laugh! Why aren't you laughing? Look at how useless you are. If you have the ability, continue laughing. Damn it, if anyone dares to talk about me behind my back in the future, I will break his legs and cut off his tongue. If you don't believe me, let's try it. Hei Xinjia's eyes were filled with viciousness. After the panic, everyone calmed down, but they could not help but step back a little. One of the disciples said indignantly, Yun Chujo, your mouth is on us, what right do you have to threaten us? Besides, you are now a girl doll, what else can you do besides throwing talismans? That's right. You used to be a bully, but now that you have become like this, you still want to threaten us? You are overestimating yourself, besides, we didn't bully you. We just talked about you. Why can't we? Everybody pointed at Hei Shinjo with contempt on their faces. Admittedly, they admitted that Yun Chujo was indeed a hero of the human race, but so what? In the immortal Yuan continent, strength was the most important. Now that she had become a child, it was already good enough that they did not add insult to injury. Couldn't they just say a few words of gossip? She was taking herself too seriously. Len Kuei could not contain his anger. Just as he was about to speak, he heard Yun Chujo sneer, based on what? I'll show you what I'm based on. Although Yun Chujo's voice was very soft, it was bone-chilling. Those people could not help but take a few steps back. To put it bluntly, these people were soft-hearted and afraid of the strong. It was not bad to say that, however, adding insult to injury and adding to the misery was definitely not without them. Everyone immediately felt that their actions of retreating were a little cowardly. Yun Chujo was indeed quite awesome in the past, but now she was just a little child, what was there to be afraid of? Therefore, everyone laughed again and pointed at Hei Shinjo. Hei Shinjo looked at these people coldly and released a group of piglets with spiritual power. Everyone was shocked. This was bad. They had forgotten about this bad thing and the purple pig. Unfortunately, it was too late to regret now. In order to get De Hua to come out quickly, Hei Shinjo let the piglets bite each other. Soon, De Hua came out lazily. De Hua looked at Hei Shinjo who had small arms and legs, and his huge body trembled. Hei Shinjo was furious. Even a fool would know that this damn De Hua was laughing at her. Fuck, no one would be laughed at by their own spiritual beasts. De Hua. Teach them a lesson. Just hold your breath. I'll see who dares to laugh at me in the future. Hei Shinjo vented her anger on the disciples. De Hua was a piece of cake in dealing with these people. A few hoofs were enough to send a bunch of screams and a tail flying. Hei Shinjo was not idle either. Lightning crackled in front of those people. Most of these people were handymen and outer court disciples. They were no match for Hei Shinjo. They were immediately beaten until they cried for their parents and begged for mercy. Junior Sister Yun, we were wrong. Please spare us. That's right. Little grandaunt, our mouths can't spit out ivory. Don't take it to heart. Our mouths are full of nonsense. Let us off. Hei Shinjo put De Hua back and said coldly, you know your mistake now. In that case, from tomorrow onwards, you will take turns to carry the pole and take me for a walk. If it is not my turn within a month, I will kill him. The crowd did not dare to disagree. They were afraid that it would not be their turn, so they scrambled to say, Junior Sister Yun, I will carry you tomorrow morning. Junior Sister Yun, there's still me. I'll carry you. Get lost. Look at your skinny appearance. Can you carry me? Junior Sister Yun, let me carry you. Yun Chujo could not be bothered with them. She raised her head and said to Len Kuei, Senior brother Len Kuei, let's go. Go in and continue telling me stories. Len Kuei. Len Kuei was dumbfounded. He had told He Xinjiu a story because he saw that she had nothing to live for. Now that she was alive and kicking, how could he ask him to tell her a story? Did she really think that she was a child? However, seeing the small figure walking into the courtyard, Len Kuei couldn't refuse her. He had no choice but to accept his fate and follow her into the courtyard. He Xinjiu jumped onto the chair, swinging her short legs, and said with a smile, "Senior brother Len Kuei, let's begin. I want to hear the part about me being the leader of the Unaffiliated Cultivator Alliance. I think you told it the best." Len Kuei, was he sure that it was because he told it well? Was it not because you were so shameless that you wanted to hear others praise you? Junior sister Xiaojiu, I still have a lot of things to do. I'll come and tell you a story another day. Len Kuei turned around and was about to leave. He Xinjia's small face immediately wrinkled, and her eyes were watery. Senior brother Len Kuei, do you dislike me too? Len Kuei's heart softened when he saw the little girl's tearful face. He quickly said, Junior sister Xiaojiu, don't cry. I'll tell you. A trace of treachery flashed under He Xinjia's long eyelashes. It turned out that there were benefits to being small. At least she could act cute. Len Kuei spoke until his throat was smoking. Only then did he leave He Xinjia's courtyard. Len Kuei made up his mind. He wouldn't come tomorrow no matter what. He was simply a tired fool. The next day, He Xinjia's door was packed with handymen and outer court disciples who wanted to carry this fellow around. He Xinjiu held her small hands behind her back and swept her short legs around. In the end, she chose the most luxurious pole. After she sat on it, she happily began patrolling the mountain. He Xinjiu sat on the pole. She held a spirit fruit in her hand and hummed a little tune. The king asked me to patrol the mountain. I walked around the world, beat my drums, and beat my gongs. Life is full of rhythm, her soft childlike voice sang a happy little tune. If one ignored the sullen expressions of the few pole-lifting disciples, everything would have been so wonderful. He Xinjiu had a strong ability to adjust her mind. She had also come to an understanding. She did not care if she was a little bean or not. Happiness was the most important thing. Therefore, the disciples of the Killing Origin sect would see a pretty little girl being carried around and showing off every day. It had become a unique sight in the Killing Origin sect. He Xinjiu was about to go out that morning to show off when she suddenly noticed that the sky had turned dark. She looked up and saw large dark clouds gathering. Oh my God, Wu Yun, is he going to strike her? He Xinjiu was delighted at first, then her heart sank. If she had not become smaller, it would be a great thing for her to be struck by lightning. However, her small body could not withstand too much of the violent lightning. It was very likely that she would explode and die. Thinking of this, He Xinjia's eyes deepened. It seemed that the old bastard Tian Dao had done it on purpose. He wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to kill her. He Xinjiu walked to the door and dismissed the servants and disciples who were preparing to carry her to patrol the mountain. Then, she thought of a countermeasure. Before He Xinjiu could think of a solution, the sky had already turned completely dark. The immense pressure made it hard for people to breathe. Even the demonic beasts at the back of the mountains of the peaks hid in the caves. Master Xiaohou and the others gathered at the meeting hall. Seeing such a strange scene, they were all shocked and bewildered. What was going on? Was it a heavenly punishment? Or was there a treasure that appeared? You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.